I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Thursday, November 2nd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 70. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Big Deal or No Big Deal at 9 a.m., and Chef Michael Johnson joins the show for a new edition of Munchies at 9:15. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, Thursday, November 22nd, 2023. Hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. It's a beautiful fall morning, cold weather in the air. You love to see it. What's up? Missed y'all yesterday. Glad to be back today. Thank you, boys, for holding it down. How's everyone feeling today? How did yesterday go?
How are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, still awful. I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's no point even talking about it. It doesn't matter.
Is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Not yet.
Nope.
But reportedly it's anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks. So.
Oh, 4 now. I thought it was 2 weeks.
That's kind of, but then, turns out sometimes it can linger. And then the horror story of my neighbor telling me his boss had it and it lasted 2 to 3 months before his nerve pain went away. So I don't know, dude. I would say this, man. If you're of the age or your doctor is telling you to get the shingles vaccine or you should think about it, I would say get it, dude. I feel like I'm a tough guy. I've never experienced anything like this. Like, I suddenly have a new perspective on people who have to deal with chronic pain, and you see why that drives people so insane into drug addiction and all these other sorts of things. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. So whatever. It doesn't matter though. We're just gonna keep going and see where it all goes and what happens. But I mean, yeah, I'm not even like, I don't know. To try to like even this Saturday whiskey and wine, I think it's gonna be the first ever sober whiskey and wine I do, simply because I'm not even putting a drop of alcohol in my body at this point. That's how desperate I am for my body to promote like every single bit of healing that it can. Not a single beer was had on Halloween. Like, just it's I don't know. Again, whatever. I don't want to talk about it because it's boring and it's just like I'm just sitting here complaining. But again, I've never. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's cool. All it is in the head, though, right? There's nothing I can do to make it worse. Talk to the doctor about it. And then it's not like resting's actually going to make it better, which I was hoping yesterday. And so at this point, I'm just telling myself, all pain is just like a neural feeling, It's just like an electric symbol sent in your nervous system. It's just like pleasure, right? So like if I just tell myself that, then maybe then it's kind of not real in some ways. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this all goes. But I'm happy to try to whoop Alabama's ass this weekend.
That'll make you feel better at least for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Get some endorphins going.
For sure. I mean, that would make me feel fantastic. That would be such a salve upon this current heap of crap that we're dealing with. So we'll talk about LSU-Bama today. I want to talk about Chris Olave, who met with the media for the first time in a couple of weeks. The Pelicans moving to a strong 3-1, despite the fact that a lot of us didn't get to see it because Bally remains just a complete, pathetic, decrepit pile of excrement that it is unreal that the Pelicans leadership decided to hoist upon its fans, but whatever. I mean, again, talking about Bally is like talking about shingles. Right? You know it sucks. You know it's awful. But for whatever reason, it's just the reality of your situation, and you have to continue to deal with it. But F him. Like, F them till they're dust. F them like in Sin City when they punched the yellow B word in the head until it was nothing but like a bloody, pulpy mess of flesh and splintered bone. That's how I feel about Bally.
At least it was on ESPN.
Anyway, all right, let's get to LSU-Alabama here in a minute. This is the opening salvo brought to you by Skull Axe. Very upset to have to miss last night because of it. They're now open off of Lee. Go to gcaxe.com. Use the code EARLYBIRD, 20% off. gcaxe.com. Look, if it's date night, guys night, girls night, whatever you want to go to Skull Axe office party, just go alone. It's going to be a ton of fun. They're open now. Go check it out. I want to talk LSU-Alabama, guys. And I've been thinking about the game a lot. What did y'all hit on yesterday when breaking it down?
I mean, we pretty much first hour. I mean, that was pretty much every single angle that we could hit on. But
from like a narrative standpoint or like a game plan standpoint.
A little bit of both.
Dude, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of both. The biggest surprise yesterday was Matt Flynn showed up.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I mean, I was hating on him too.
So when did you get the answer that he was coming in?
When he walked in at 8:02.
When he walked in at 8:02?
Yeah.
Oh, did I not relay the message? Because I want to say that he texted me back at...
You definitely did not.
Maybe he texted me back like right when the show started. I might have been asleep still. I don't know. Okay, so you had no idea that he was coming in. And
No,
that's good.
We didn't have a mic set up, anything.
Heck yeah. Well, that's
so Taylor had to go run and get one. And now with Flynn, we actually talked a lot of sign stealing and Connor Stallions with him in disguise in the Central Michigan sideline because it's something that Flynn did in the NFL.
Yeah. Did he have the video Ray-Ban glasses though?
No, those weren't a thing when Flynn was in the NFL.
I mean, Stallion straight up used the military tactics like his LinkedIn talked about as he ends up like Jim McElwain had no idea he was on the sideline.
Mm-mm.
Have you seen the McElwain like nobody?
Yeah, we
knew.
played it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Apparently, after the conference call yesterday, Jim Harbaugh hung up, and the rest of the Big Ten coaches stayed on and talked to the Big Ten commish, and they all basically told the commissioner, "You got to punish these guys." Like they're furious. Yeah. Everybody's mad. Whatever. We can get into it a bit later. An angle that I've been thinking about on LSU-Alabama, and let's be clear, I've been saying it all week. I just feel too close to the case to offer anything that I would consider unbiased or analytical, right? I'm always messing with Taylor about how like love and hate are so thinly divided. They're two sides of the same coin. And when you love something, the weaknesses appear to loom so much larger than if you don't care. So like analytically, I find myself being a bit negative where the weak link of LSU's defense feels so much weaker than does the weak link of Alabama that I'm like, okay, the game's a T-Town, Alabama, whatever. They probably win. But at the same time, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about analysis. I don't care about anything. I just want to go full Mad Max, Fury Road, balls to the wall, get out the chrome spray paint, and witness me kamikaze dive into the heart of T-Town. And so with that in mind, it kind of got me thinking, okay, who has more pressure on them in this game, right? Who can play more free and just say, whatever, F it, let's see what happens. And I guess I'm a bit of two minds. First off, on one hand, it has to be Alabama. They're in the driver's seat for the West. They control their own destiny.
Yeah.
They're trying to avoid not winning a national championship for the first time ever in 3 years under Nick Saban. They still have the clearest path. They went out, they beat Georgia, they're in the playoff, and they can compete for all those things once again. And so it's like, okay, yeah, it's Alabama. And they're at home, right? And they lost last year to LSU. You can't go 0-2 against Brian Kelly, lose 3 of the last 5. All of a sudden, the spell is completely broken. So that's all points there. But then I look over on the LSU side, and I'm like, okay, well, the pressure for LSU is not necessarily in the wins and losses much, though certainly 6-3 feels way different than 7-2 does for Brian Kelly. But it's more to me, Jake, about, well, you have this legendary offense and you don't want to have it go to waste. Like, you have a championship level offense, and so to not even be able to claim a massive signature win or an SEC West title or a championship, like to not claim any of these things with this offense, that too would feel like a huge waste. So there's a lot of pressure there as well. So how do you score it from a pressure standpoint?
I still think it would go pressure to Alabama because of all the things that you laid out there. I mean, when you look at who they are as a program, right, they've been not only a pillar, they've been the standard of college football for so long, and Georgia has taken over that title now. And so if you go a third year in a row where you don't win a national title, if you go another year where you don't play for the SEC championship game, well, I mean, that kind of changes where you're at as a program. I'm not saying they're going away by any means, but if they want to get back to that, they have to win this game. It is a must-win for them. So them being at home, you know, Nick Saban just not losing to the same quarterback 2 years in a row, like all these things that would be, you know, first time in a long time for Alabama, like that is, they have to win to be able to hold on to all of that. So I still think it's for them. I mean, for LSU, look, you got 2 losses. You're probably out of the national championship conversation. Like, even if
I think you are out. I don't think,
Yeah,
I mean,
even if
barring
you-
an 07 miracle, right?
Yeah, that's what I personally am never going to say never with what happened there. But even if you went out, like, it's still like things would have to happen, to your point. So, like, for you, like, yes, go get a signature win on the road against Alabama, and you've played well in Tuscaloosa. I mean, better there than you have in Baton Rouge. And so I would say that not all the pressure, but most of it is still on Alabama.
And speaking of pressure, that's one thing that I'm kind of fascinated to see is I really want to see how this LSU offense handles it. Because already on the outside looking in now, you have a situation where I can already feel when LSU does have to punt at some point in this game, it's going to feel really bad, right? And it's going to feel like, oh my God, dude, can we just like, oh, kind of almost probably like it felt a bit in that Ole Miss game. And so it's like, it's one of those deals where, can this offense do what Brian Kelly talked about earlier in this week, where it's like, look, this is a confidence offense. They know who they are. They don't feel any untoward pressure. They just go out there and do their job. And that's going to start with that offensive line, who, let's be clear, I think this is the best offensive line in the entire country. I think if you compare this 2019 offense if you compare this offense to the 19 offense, Jake, a lot of similarities. But I don't think that I would say you're better at any position group, save for the 5 across the front. I think you could actually make that argument. But make no mistake, this is going to be the best front 7 that they've played since Florida State, right? And that's the only time. I mean, Auburn was pretty good.
Yeah.
And they handled Auburn easily. Yeah. But Auburn was pretty good. But, like, Florida State was the only time that they kind of looked a bit human. That was a long time ago, and they've all gotten much better. But I want to see, because I think it's all going to start, like, because if LSU's going to win, they're going to have to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to be able to find some success on inside zone. It's what makes a lot of this offense go. And so that's going to start with those guys up front having success against one of the best defenses in the entire country, and maybe the second best defense or first best in the SEC.
One of the things that's going to be interesting in the game plan for Alabama is how much they try to get after Jaden Daniels, and how many people do they bring? Do they just play with their 4 down defensive linemen to try to fill it out? And if they're not getting back there and Jaden Daniels is picking them apart, well, how many people do they bring? Because you have to be careful. If you blitz Jaden Daniels and they pick it up, well, that leaves a lot of space for him to move around, step up in the pocket. We've seen him in Como against Mizzou, right? They decide to bring pressure. He steps up and, 40 yards down the field later. So that's what, like, Alabama's got to – they got to be careful that if they do bring pressure, they better make sure that they get home, because that's what teams are terrified to do, because Jaden Daniel with his legs, but also if you only rush 4, like, he's going to pick you apart. So it's a pick your poison type situation. So how does, Steele and Saban game plan against Jaden Daniels? And, last year he had some success running the football, but, a lot of Jaden's success in this game, it was throwing the football. It was really one of those games where I thought he grew maybe the most last year.
Yeah, I was watching some highlights, and eventually I need to just sit down and probably rewatch the game last year and see what kind of insight you can gain. What do you think about this? So coming up later today on the Snaps YouTube channel, we're gonna on every Thursday we release an episode with our gambling guy, the Colin Wilson guy, who I think's been pretty spot on. He likes Alabama here, Jake. And he basically scores it like this. I just mentioned inside zone, right? He says that both these teams offensively, at the core of what they do, and I don't know that I fully agree with him on the LSU offense, so I would say maybe that's where I would personally disagree, but he seems to think that both these offenses basically operate off of like inside zone has to work, and then everything else builds on top of whether it's pulling and throwing or whatever, RPOs, like. And he goes on to point out that, look, Alabama's pretty good at stopping inside zone, and obviously LSU, from a success rate standpoint, is very bad. And then I was like, well, but what about LSU's explosive? Nobody's got more like 20-yard pass plays, all that stuff. And he's like, well, Alabama has the highest graded secondary in the entire country, according to PFF, in pass coverage. So is that too simplistic? Colin Wilson's breakdown, simply that if LSU can't run inside zone, they're going to lose the game.
I think so. I mean, I think it is. You've had a bye week as well, so like, what wrinkle are you going to have in this game plan for both teams? Last year, we talked about it. It might have been yesterday. Maybe you were the day you were in, where last year, right? You come in and you have basically a triple option where Jaden can hand it, he can run it, or he can throw it to Mason Taylor in the flats. Remember, like, that was the play for this game, and it worked incredibly well in this game, and that was the new wrinkle. And so I think both teams are going to have something new. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an obvious statement to say, yeah, you got to run the football, and LSU basically is a zone run team. They don't run gap scheme. So, yeah, if you stop the inside zone, you stop LSU's run game, because that's what they are. That's who they are. So it is simplistic in the fact that he's like, hey, you got to stop this one run play. Well, it's kind of the one run play they run.
Well, and what my question is, though, if that is not working, can you just pass your way over? Like, can you still pass your way to a win?
Oh,
if you're not running the balls, I think you
so.
can. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to with the receivers and Jaden and everything he's shown you this year.
Because Jaden, who's your second leading rusher, he's always a threat to run the football.
Yeah.
So like that adds another dynamic to it.
I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. Mark Cumbie says, well, that's it. We don't have a chance. Just forfeit. Yeah, no, I exactly right. I mean, you again, there is no reason to not go in there and just play free. Like everything said, I think Jake has the right of it. I think Alabama absolutely has more pressure on them in this situation to hold serve at home. They've been vulnerable. You've already been stung, Like you've already gone through the bad times. You don't have fear of failure because you've already experienced it. Now it's time to make them experience it as well. And really, I want LSU to just go full chaos agent Jake, and I want him to burn it all down. I want LSU to stop the SEC from making the last 4-team playoff. Like, I want them to beat Alabama. Whatever's going to happen with Ole Miss and Georgia happens. You go into Atlanta, you beat Georgia, and then you keep the SEC out of this final national championship. Or on some 07 insanity, maybe you find your way in somehow, some way. Either way, 48 hours, boys. Let's go. Cannot friggin' wait.
Real quick, a note, and I love what you said there. A note, though, LSU has been like a 52% inside zone run team this entire season. But if you just go the last 4 weeks, that number has actually gone down to 44%, and the man percentage has gone up to 27%.
Okay.
So if you're breaking down like what they've – because I feel like they've had more success running the football since about week 6.
Yeah,
I mean, they were bad early in the year, but more success in the last 3-4 weeks. And so their man number has gone up, and then inside zone's gone down. I mean, 7%, considering it felt like they were running inside zone only for a while.
Yeah, to take 7% off of 2 when you have this many games accumulated, it means you're starting to do things differently. Also, remember, if we just think back to that Florida State game in which you did kind of struggle running the ball, I mean, you had Trey Bradford getting that first run, right? Who was Logan Diggs at that point? All right, we've gone very long. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He didn't play. I mean, he didn't play in the game. He wasn't. Yeah.
It's so crazy to think about how much they've evolved thus far. All right, when we get back, I want to talk Chris Olave. I want to talk Pelicans after that, so keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Community Steel Company. Go to communitysteelco.com, a great new website. Go check out Community Steel over there in Gonzales, Louisiana. You can go and go to the facilities for yourself, which are massive and expanding, and they make everything on site, all your purlin, all your tubing, all your steel building needs. And I love the steel building angle here, Jake, because they have them all built on site as well. So like little model homes, you kind of walk through and get an exact idea of what you're buying. And so I don't care if you're a business or you have some personal steel needs. Community Steel Company has the best prices, the best customer service, and they're local, okay? Live humans, local, that you can form relationships with. CommunitySteelco.com.
Yeah, get in contact with them. You can make a custom metal building from scratch. You can add a metal roof to your home or your office facility, whatever your situation is there. You can call them about trim work. I mean, all of this is right there, 225-647-2020.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well.
104.5 this Sunday to catch 3 different NFL games. We start with the noon kickoff, the Seahawks at Ravens. Immediately following that, it's the Cowboys and Eagles. And then our night game, the Bills at Bengals. Catch all of those games here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Fight
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
And y'all, welcome back to OTB. Hope everybody's having a great morning. November 2nd, beautiful fall morning. Emil in the chat says, at least Alabama's offense can depend on their defense. In the back of LSU's offense mind is the fact that this defense just doesn't have the juice, especially if Bama plays mistake-free on offense. Well, yeah, look, I mean, I don't think that's wrong. I am holding out some sort of irrational hope, though, Jake, that this defense is going to surprise us in some way, the LSU defense. I think the main thing is, and obviously this sounds very basic, just make Alabama sustain drives. You know, if they can go 12 plays, 75, tip of the cap, because that's something that they've struggled with this year. Like when you force them to earn it like piece by piece, they tend to make a mistake or end up kind of breaking down. So just keep everything underneath you. Maybe that's where Harold Perkins playing more spy this week comes into play. Like that would be my goal for the defense. You're not going to have a dominant performance, but can you force them to play underneath you and sustain success?
And I am not making excuses for the LSU defense because we can turn on the tape and we can see some of the issues that they've had, and they still have issues. Now, they also still have players, and you're down an All-American in Mekhi Wingo, and you're down certainly players in the secondary. You still have some really good players, but I also say, they struggled, we say 3 times mightily, Ole Miss, Mizzou, Florida State, right?
Yeah, with Ole Miss being up there with the Mississippi State 2020 film as, maybe the worst of all time.
Right. I mean, if you're trying to pump some sunshine into the discussion, all of those are top 30 offenses in the country.
That's true.
I mean, so, yeah, you got to play better. You cannot give up the plays that you gave up. Certainly Ole Miss and Mizzou, there was some too easy, like, on-air type throws, but you have been playing better. And, this Alabama offense is not those 3 offenses. They're just not.
No.
They are not a bad offense, but they're a middle-of-the-road offense. And so, like, it's not going to be the same situation. To your point, like, make them drive the length of the field. Because if this offense does that, then, you were always going to struggle in this game. And those offenses you played and you faced, they had quarterback, multiple receivers, running back.
Yep.
All of them. Okay, well, I don't know that this Alabama team has that consistently. Not to say that, Jermaine Burton hadn't been really good at times. He has certainly flashed, but it hasn't been every single game, right? So if you can make him get into one of those valleys that he's been in this year, well, it's going to pose well for you.
I agree. And then can you stop McMillan in that rushing attack in the second half? Because that seems to be how they want to take over games right now.
I hope that's what they do.
What, just try to run it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, that would play when
they play more into your hands if you're LSU.
LSU did well against Auburn, well against Mississippi State, kind of traditional and traditional and non-traditional rushing attacks, but rushing first attacks both the same. Jordan Jefferson's really good against the run. Savion Jones has been a bit of a mixed bag at times this year, but
the skills there. It's the assignment. I think keeping leverage.
All right, I want to talk a little New Orleans Saints here, and I want to talk about Chris Olave. Chris Olave met with the media this week for the first time in a couple of weeks, and it kind of begs the question, what did the Saints need to do to get Chris Olave going? And a lot of his media availability was Olave being very honest about the fact that he feels as if he is slumping right now, right? And it kind of culminates in the play on Sunday where he has a ball in the end zone hit off of his face mask, right? And I love this quote. He says, man, that ish looked goofy. I knew right after the play, I was like, damn, that ish looked like ass. And yeah, I mean, look, he's right? And so you have the speeding drama, struggling on the field, the him and Derek Carr drama, and he is objectively in a slump. And what I wanted to pick your brain is, Jake, we think about slumps with more skill-based sports, right? A la a baseball, where for whatever reason a guy just can't find the ball or can't find the strike zone, or in basketball a three-point shooter suddenly can't hit shot. We don't think about slumps a lot in football. You know, like we don't really allow for it.
No.
I don't know if it's just because it's such a physical sport that your raw talent or physicality should be able to make up for maybe the skill portion struggling, but like we just never really talk about it.
There's no room for failure in football.
Yeah.
And there's other sports out there, and if you played that sport or if you're still in that sport, you coach that sport, you might roll your eyes at that, but just think about it. In baseball, right, how many times you have to be successful. Like even if you're a starting pitcher and you go 6 innings, you only give up 2 runs, right, maybe you strike out 5, you had a good day.
Great day, yeah.
And at the plate, right, if you're batting 300, 3 out of 10, it's the old saying, right, well, you had a really good stretch. Okay, so like same thing in some other sports. But in football, if I'm the left tackle and we pass the ball 40 times and I win 38 out of 40, I had an awful day.
Yeah, if the 2 that you lose become sacks,
I had an awful day.
Everybody thinks you did.
I'm grading out like in the 30s on Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
I won 38 out of my 40 individual matchups, but those 2 that I lost because they're heightened. You almost have to be perfect. That's just what it is. Like, I mean, quarterback, obviously, if you go 25 of 32, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, you still had a good day. But if I'm a receiver, if I drop 1 ball, man, I don't know. You see that drop he had? If I'm a running back, if I fumble 1 time, if I have 40 carries and I fumble 1 time, awful day.
That's true.
I mean, it's a game that I'm thinking about. I still think about fumbling Christmas in 2009. We won the game by like 35 points, right? That's just one of those things because it is a game for a majority of it where you have to be as close to perfect as you – like a DB. I could lock Taylor up all game long, but he beats me on a double move. 75 yards down the field, and Taylor had the day. I didn't have the day.
Yeah, look, well, and then what I love about that is I'm always talking about this, but DB and O-line are actually the same position in so many different ways, and that's just another way. So I guess all of this is to say that, yeah, look, athletes slump sometimes, and it's tough to refine that form. But I do like the fact that Chris Olave, I like a couple of things. First, I like the fact that Chris Olave is acknowledging it and saying, look, man, I'm not making any excuses. It seems like everything that can go wrong is going wrong right now. I just need to make a couple of big plays and break out of this thing, but I'm going to break out of this thing. Another thing that I liked hearing about, it sounds like Michael Thomas has been invaluable for Olave working through this downward swing and not coddling invaluable, not telling him just what he wants to hear, but according to Olave, keeping it real with him. And saying, look, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing right. This is how you're going to work through this. And, this is why you just got to keep on pushing and keep working through. And Mike Thomas isn't having any sort of overwhelmingly volume. He's not having an overwhelming volume year, Jake, but he's having a very consistent year.
Yeah.
He's consistently contributing game in and game out, and he's refining his own form. Like, that's a man who had to go through a very extended downswing to now emerge once again as an NFL player the other side. And we've seen a more mature Michael Thomas emerge, a more of a leader who's been saying all the right things publicly and apparently privately as well. And so I love seeing Elijah acknowledge it. I love seeing Michael Thomas help him through it. And what's wild to think about is even with this slump that Olave's in right now, you look at the stats halfway through the season, he's leading in catches, he's leading the team in yards, and he's on pace for an 88-catch, 1,000-yard season. So, if he can get it going again, then all of a sudden, with the emergence of Rashid Shaheed and Michael Thomas, and now Taysom Hill's role is becoming more and more clear and defined, Alvin Kamara's, again, the weapons, Chris Olave is the final piece of getting that weapon puzzle, the full battery of weapons to be firing on all cylinders.
He leads in targets as well with 77. The next closest would be Michael Thomas with 61. He's second on the team in big plays, 20-yard receptions. Only, Rashid Shaheed, because every reception he has is because he averages over 20 yards, by the way, 20.8 yards. And so, yes, to his standard, he's probably in a little bit of a slump. But really, when you dive into it, let's go back and look at it. Let's go back to the Tampa game. Okay, he, in that game, he was not himself, right? And he didn't play well. The team didn't play well. He has 1 catch for 4 yards. And then the next game against the Patriots, because of the way that score played out and the way the flow of that game went, you have 2 for 12. But he has come back and had moments. 7 for 96 against Houston, 7 for 57 against Jacksonville, and then he still had 5 for 46 against the Colts. And so it actually was worse a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's getting back to where it's going to be close. And if he catches the one that hits off his helmet, he's going to
80 yards and a
have
touchdown. It's great.
And everybody's okay with it. So it's that one play. And again, Tampa Bay, New England, they were much worse situations, even though he did catch a touchdown in that New England game. So it's trending back in the right direction. But you can also say this. The offense is playing better since they've started to spread the football around.
Yes. Yeah,
and that part of it is what it is. And Chris Olave feels like someone who understands that as well. Has he played his best? No. But they're not going away from him because of that. They're just – the game plan right now for the Saints is better when they get Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara's back now, so he's got the offense is spreading the wealth. They have the ability to do so because they do really have a talented roster on that side.
And they're, somehow, despite it all, tied atop the NFC South with a uber-friendly schedule immediately ahead. So here's to hoping that Olave can find his way over these next few weeks. All right, when we get back, flock up, boys. Time to talk some Pelicans. Keep it locked here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time to slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
We've lowered our prices on select top products like electrical wire and drywall, so you can get the job necessities for less. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. In-store only. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Cut through the static and listen to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Join me for a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Rouse's. Luke Johnson on the Saints, Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers. And we'll head to Tuscaloosa and chat with Tony Tsoukalas about Nick Saban's Tide. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, Mr. White down here, heard me Fox a minute, y'all. This one be the remix. Bad, savage life. Fox a minute, y'all. Man, you already know what it is, you heard me? We still riding on chrome. We still pulling up. Man, look, hey, I pull up at the club, VIP, gas tank on, even all drinks on me.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yeah, don't look now, but sans Brandon Ingram, your New Orleans Pelicans off to a 3-1 start. And guys, let's really not take this for granted, okay?
Well, let's not take last night for granted.
That's what I'm saying.
I was nervous that we were going to be sending Pelicans text in the text group,
It
not
was
Pelicans.
an awful beginning. Going down 20 halfway. Really, I say 20 halfway through the second, but it was still a 20-point deficit with about 3 minutes left in that second quarter. Everything felt awful, and yet you find a way to come back and win the game against a team that you're going to be directly competing with, against a team that was already 3-1 as you were 2-1, right? They were trying to move to 4-1, push you down to 500, and this team found a way, and I really love the flurry at the end of the first half. I love a lot of it, right? But it was a mixture of, and you saw this really, I guess, the entire game when they started to come back and win. Everything flowed through Zion. Whether it's him finishing at the rim or him collapsing the defense and then dishing out. When the Pelicans shoot like they did, and granted, the end of the half flurry was still pretty spectacular. It seemed like everything was falling. But when the Pelicans shoot like they did from the outside last night, like that's going to be a dangerous team to contend with that is capable of beating anybody, because Zion just remains unlike anything we've ever seen when it comes to finishing around the rim.
It was a fun game to watch, and so many different moments, and coming back against a good basketball team. Now, Oklahoma City doesn't have necessarily like the deepest bench, but when you start talking about the 5 they throw out there to begin the game, that is a 5 that's going to hold up against a lot of teams in the NBA. And to be down on the road, on the road to be down like that, and then to come back, man, that showed a lot of grit for this Pelicans team. And then like to have a guy like Herb in that situation, they're trying to tie the game up, and like he's going to be on the ball. However their last play works out, you knew he was going to be the guy defending it. And to have a guy like that you almost – it's like 99% confidence that he's going to get the job done. So I say that to say this Pelicans team has different pieces that work in different ways. And we've said it for years, and we don't want to be Charlie Brown again this year, but they have the pieces to be able to, piece together whatever they have to against different teams and kind of change their identity depending on who that team is because of the players that they have. Like if it's a Warriors game, and I know that one didn't go well the other night, but right, if you want to try to score like that, this Pelicans team is showing they can play more in a game like that. And if they want to play a game against a tougher team, right, where it's going to be a defensive battle, I feel like they've gotten better in that avenue as well. So it was fun to see them come back against a really good team and make the plays down the stretch to win it.
Well, and survive the late run by the Thunder as well, because it looked like it was going to be a classic, here we go again, throw your hands up, Pelican fourth quarter collapse, right? There's the 13-2 run by the Thunder. So you're only up 1 with a minute and a half left. And then, credit CJ hitting the big 3. But still, they have a possession to try to win it at the end. A bit surprised that, I guess Herb's impossible to drive on. A bit surprised that was a shot that they settled on. And then credit CJ for making the 2 free throws to just take any sort of, just close out the game. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, man, coming back from the first half deficit, surviving the run late, it all spoke to mental toughness. And it all speaks to, because if you're a Pelicans fan, you have a lot of insecurities. And one of them are those collapses, right? And the fight and the effort and all those sorts of things. Everything that you saw last night helps to erase those insecurities and give you some confidence. I know this team can and is a bit different. Mario, what were your biggest takeaways from last night?
CJ McCollum, he's the clear-cut leader of the team right now, in my opinion. Setting the tone on both ends. Like, offensively, he made big-time shots down the stretch. 29 points, 5 of 8 from 3. But then he had 11 rebounds, too, and 5 assists. Like, we know what he can do offensively. He's doing a great job picking his spots and playing well in the clutch. But he's doing the little things, getting a lot of deflections on defense, getting a lot of long rebounds, making the Pelicans get out and run. CJ McCollum is playing excellent basketball right now.
Hey, how about Jordan Hawkins was like, I'm putting up these shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it only 2 went down, but I credit the rookie. I mean, he was in the starting lineup. I thought he played well, and that's like, wait, how'd he play well? He's 2 of 13 from beyond the arc, or 2 of 12 maybe. But regardless, I love the confidence in his shot, and he went out there and didn't play like a rookie as far as his confidence level.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, yes, he had a bad game shooting, but you don't have a ton of bona fide three-point shooters on this team. I mean, McCollum was 5 of 8, but yeah, I mean, I love that Jordan Hawkins was in the starting line because we talked about it a little bit before the year. It's like there was a chance this guy was going to go to the G League, and we were like, wait a minute, you spent a high draft pick on this guy. He's one of the few three-point shooters you have. They clearly have changed their minds on that. I mean, he's in the starting lineup and played really well. Like
he actually had the best plus-minus of anybody on the Pelicans.
He played really good defense, and that's hard for a rookie to do this early in their career. So, while he didn't shoot well, I thought he impacted the game.
I remain a bit disappointed in Brandon Ingram. I hope and it's a weird thing because if he's hurt, he's hurt. It just is what it is. Well, hold on to that. We might do that a little later there, Taylor. But but between last year and this year, look, Ingram definitely makes you better, and Ingram can make you somewhat relevant to a playoff chase. But it's so clear that it's about Zion. Right, like if you're going to win, when it comes to winning games, Zion is the real X factor here. The run they went on last year was when he was healthy. This 3-1 start has all been fueled by his health. And as I'm not like taking away from CJ here. It's just that Zion's the one that makes everything work. Everything flows through him. He is the proverbial straw that stirs the drink. And our man looks good right now. I mean, he's got bounce. I love watching that man follow his shot. He's doing great off the dribble. How about the spin move that he pulled yesterday at the top of the arc into the layup? Like, it's just he's and it's so funny watching even him like go up against someone like Chet Holmgren, who he's given up so many inches against. But again, he remains that tweener mismatch where he's just too big and strong for the tall guys and too fast, but also too big and strong for the faster short guys, right? Like you just can't find anybody to D him up. So again, don't take this for granted. 3-1 start. Let's go, boys. This is exactly what you wanted to see out of this Pelicans team. And that's without Jose Alvarado, without Trey Murphy. And it seems like maybe, especially once Murphy gets back, it seems like they'll have the shooting. I don't know if they're just hot right now. I mean, CJ certainly is, but it seems like kind of littered throughout the entire team. Even like Valanciunas every now and then, it seems like they're going to have the shooting on this team. Hope so.
Do you think it'll be this deep as far as the rotation? I mean, they play a lot of guys. I mean, they're playing 11 guys without BI right now. Mario, what do you think when BI does come back? Obviously, somebody's minutes have to go away. Probably looking at a Kyra Lewis. Zello only played 2 minutes, but I mean, even the other games, they're going to play 9-10 guys. Does that change it all for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to shrink. You're going to see less Matt Ryan. Dyson Daniels is going to have to continue to play well on offense. You see him be a lot more aggressive this year compared to last year, but those guys are definitely in danger of losing minutes.
Well, not only that, when Trey Murphy comes back as well eventually, like that'll shrink it a little bit more.
Matt Ryan, I mean, he's in there because, I mean, he's a three-point shooter. He plays the same position. I mean, Trey Murphy takes all of those minutes immediately. No disrespect to you, Matt Ryan.
Though, Matt Ryan and Dyson Daniels, like you're still going to have an 8 to 9 man rotation, though, probably.
Yeah, because Nance is going to play. Like Larry Nance is the guy that he's a leader in the second unit, and your guy Najee Marshall at some point.
Yeah, we'll see when he gets back. And Jose, it feels like hasn't played in forever. Like the last time Jose Alvarado played basketball was like way too long ago. Him coming back is going to be big too.
All right, when we get back, more RGB. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. They've been at it for 50 years, y'all. 5 decades of solving your plumbing problems. They got the flat rate pricing. Everybody's licensed, bonded, and insured. Great warranty coverage once the work is done. And I don't care if it's business, residential, whatever. You want Central Plumbing. 925-8552. Hit them up today. And it's not just repairs, remodels, tankless water heaters, whatever. They got you. CentralPlumbing.org.
Yeah, you can find that information about the remodels on their homepage at that website T just gave you. And remember, that's at your home or business. So if it's just like your main bathroom at home, if it's a guest bathroom, or if you have like 7 or 8 at your business, doesn't matter. They can come in. They can give you the facelift that you need. Tankless water heater, like T mentioned there. Look, you get home late from the ball field, you still got to do dishes, laundry, shower, all that. Well, don't worry, because if you're tankless, you never run out of hot water. You'll be A-OK there as well. CentralPlumbing.org, 225-925-8552.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Culinary. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ryan Clark talking LSU-Bama. Mike Triplett previewing Saints-Bears. Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, so I haven't seen this picture yet. I don't know if this is going to be funny or not. But last night when I was looking at Brandon Ingram on the bench, I could not help but be struck by the fact at how he kind of looks like a rat. Specifically, Master Splinter from the recent incarnation of TMNT. I have no idea if this actually is accurate or not. So my first time seeing it, I had Taylor put together side by side. Let's see here. Okay, dude. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong there?
If you notice, their faces are both down. Their eyes are both looking up. Like, that's the exact look.
You found a good look to do the side-by-side with here, but I don't know. I feel, okay, I wasn't sure how this was going to come off. I feel a little validated now. My man's got some major Master Splinter vibes, no?
No.
Mario?
Yeah, he looks like the thing next to him.
I know you're hesitant. I know you're hesitant to want to play this game or to want to talk bad about BI. We're not talking bad. We're just having fun here.
Yeah, Ingram's thick-skinned. It's all good. I mean, he does look like that character. I hope he's back tonight, man.
Look, Master Splinter's a beast.
He is.
In fact, in the new TMNT movie, which is shockingly good.
Yeah.
Mutant Mayhem, you should, full recommend with kids, or if you're just like a TMNT kid from growing up, you'd probably enjoy it. Jackie Chan is the voice of the new Master Splinter, and who doesn't love everything that Jackie Chan does? All right, so obviously we went short here. Apologize for that. But coming up next hour, we got a ton of college football talk coming your way. Caroline Fenton as well. We got Big Deal or No Big Deal later on. Munchies also. Love talking to Chef. Feels like it's been forever to have. More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You download it today. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's all one word. Promo code Baton Rouge. You bet $5 on the NBA. What do you get? You get $200 in bonus bets immediately, guys. And remember, if it's not just new customers, though, Jake. If you're a returning customer, they have great NFL deals all the time as well. Every NFL game day as well.
They do, and look, they always have the boost as well. The boost is something that you can take full advantage of. They're always offering those things, and just juice it up just a little bit, and you'll have the opportunity to take advantage of those.
So, promo code Baton Rouge, $5 in the NBA, $200 in bonus bets instantly. The crown is yours. 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana, select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms of sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Lightsea partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. DraftKings.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Thursday, November 2nd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 70. Coming up on OTB, Caroline Fenton joins the show at 8:30. We have a new edition of Big Deal or No Big Deal at 9 a.m. And Chef Michael Johnson joins us for a new edition of Munchies at 9:15. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, Peter said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB Hour number 2. And talk some college football this hour. Pawn Satan. That's funny. It's a Sean Payton play, but it's Peansayton. I mean, the only way to say that is Pawn Satan, right? Pawn Satan. T-Bob, I noticed you turned in your badge yesterday. When you have an official pick for the LSU game Saturday, I'll have an official pick tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, the commissioner took me off the case, told me to turn in my badge and gun. I've just got too much emotion tied into it. But guess what? I'm going full vigilante, baby. I'm throwing on the mask and I'm getting that street justice. So we'll have a pick coming up tomorrow. Ooh, some great movie talk going on there. I want to know, would you be an official ambassador of the new avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl in Orlando this year? I mean, yeah, sure. I love avocados. They're incredible. Actually supposed to help with shingles. So I've been eating a lot of them.
My man's been Googling.
Yeah. No, I fully have changed my diet completely to try and abate it a little bit. All right, so a lot to get to this hour. Jake, you've got some fascinating transfer portal information, which we want to get to. I got some big questions from this CFB weekend that I want to get to. Where do we want to start? You want to start with the portal or the questions?
Doesn't matter to me. We can start with the portal. Doesn't matter.
All right, let's do the portal.
All right, so we've been talking about Clemson over the last couple of weeks and really leading into this season because of what they were not doing as far as keeping up with college football in the transfer portal and in the NIL space. And the question was, can they be the elite program that they've been over the last decade if they continue to try to build through only high school recruiting? Now, as we know, like Georgia a year ago, remember, they didn't take a player out of the portal. It's like, yeah, it can be done. Look at what they've done in high school recruiting. Well, there's a couple of things there. The first thing is Georgia recruits at a much higher clip than Clemson.
True.
Right? So that's the first thing.
True.
And the second thing is that's not the case this year. That was really only last year. Even Kirby Smart in Georgia, they realized that you have to dabble. You don't have to completely rebuild your roster, a la Colorado, Arizona State, and others, but you have to, where you have deficiencies, add players. And so when we had the initial top 10 in the college football playoff ranking, I wanted to dive into, okay, well, what did they do in the portal, right? Because I wanted to see, is there another team that's like Clemson in the top 10? And remember, Clemson lost 12 players. They only brought in one, and that was Bear Bryant's grandson coming over from Arizona State. So obviously Dabo's going to have a relationship there. Okay, well, so in the top 10, you had Ohio State. They brought in 10 guys. They lost 12 guys. Georgia, well, they only brought in 4 guys, and they lost 15, but those 4 guys are very impactful. Right? You got Lovett on offense coming over from Mizzou. You got Ra coming over from Mississippi State. Like, where would that Georgia team be without those 2 receivers? Very impactful players. So even though it's only 4, it's still like you have to do it. Michigan, they brought in 10. They lost 14. Florida State brings in 13.
Yeah.
They lose 22. All right. Washington, they bring in 9. They lose 17. Oregon brings in 15. They lose 32 players. Right? So you're going to have movement the other way as well. But the main teams like
Oregon lost 32?
32 players. Jeez. Texas at number 7, Alabama at number 8. They both only brought in 5 players. Texas lost 21. Alabama lost 22. But in those 5 players, again, impactful players in the 5. I mean, Texas goes and gets a receiver from Georgia.
This is all kind of crazy, too, though. These numbers of departures that you're mentioning here really show what we've been theorizing about that it's not just an upward funnel. There's a downward funnel as well, as where all these elite teams are losing a lot of those 4 and 5 stars who used to just ride the bench in the past.
Oklahoma,
that's crazy.
Yeah, Oklahoma brings in 17.
Yeah.
Loses 23.
Damn.
Ole Miss brings in 24. Loses 34.
Yeah. I mean, hey, when you build, what's the old song, the old Abraham song? When you build your house upon the shifting sands, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, yeah, that's how Ole Miss. And look, credit to them. Ranked top 10, third year in a row, which, by the way, did y'all play that audio on Wednesday of Lane Kiffin? Very subtly making fun of Texas A&M. He was talking about, because he was asked about what's it like to have Ole Miss ranked top 10 third year in a row, and he's like, he kind of says it doesn't mean anything, but it does. But basically saying, especially when you're playing a team like the one we're playing, A&M, that should be ranked in the top 10 every year. And then he went on to even mention the fact that Jimbo Fisher's out here saying publicly that A&M's goal is to be bowl eligible, which is in and of itself just pathetic. Yeah. That those would be the words that you're uttering publicly as A&M's coach. Anyway, whatever. Yes, he's handled the transfer portal fantastic,
and that's who they have to be, because they're not going to. I think we mentioned this yesterday. They're not going to beat Alabama, Georgia, LSU for recruits. Yeah, ain't going to happen. Not out of high school, but they can get some in the portal. And so that's how Ole Miss wants to build their team. But the teams I wanted to point out that Clemson needs to try to replicate. UGA bringing in 4 guys, Texas bringing in 5, Alabama bringing in 5, okay? So you don't have to have these wholesale changes, but go get 5 players, because the ones that Georgia brought in, they're impactful. The ones Alabama, Texas brought in, impactful players that are helping them be a top 10 team. So Dabo, you don't have to love it. Just dabble in it. Just go bring in 4 to 6 players every single year that are going to help your roster.
And it's not that it's going to work out every year, because sometimes those Alabama transfers have not worked out. Certainly LSU's this year have not in many ways. If you just look at guys like Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut, I mean, those should be your 2 best cover corners on the team right now, and they're both healthy and actives. And for Denver, it's like, well, yeah, all the red flags that you knew about coming in, well, they seem to have kind of reared their head once again. For Deuce, I don't know that anybody thought that I don't know. I think that was maybe a bit more unexpected. But the point is, at least you tried. You can't let that fear of failure hold you back from trying. But LSU is kind of fascinating in this conversation as well, Jake, because you have 1 year in which you brought in so many transfers, and you look at the secondary specifically, and it helped immensely. And it's really the entire reason why you win the West is because you have guys like Jarek Bernard-Converse and Joe Fouché and Mekhi Garner. Yeah. And then one of the reasons why you're so awful defensively this year is because you just didn't hit on those guys when you tried to run it back again.
Yeah, LSU's numbers, they brought in 13, lost 22, in case you're wondering about those LSU numbers. But, J.K. Johnson getting hurt, we could go down the line. You tried to replace him. Of the 13, how many defensive backs are we talking about? You got Deuce in Denver, and you got J.K., you got Andre Sam.
I'm just pointing out
Zay Alexander.
Yeah, so it's not a 100% guaranteer of success, but you still have to be willing to engage and go for it. and try your best
Yes.
to cover up.
Are you
your
telling me like a
deficiencies.
Keon Coleman who was in the portal after the spring, if you add him to Clemson, they're not a different team?
Yeah, true.
I mean, they have no juice on the outside. Their offense right now is Will Shipley.
Yeah.
They have nobody on the outside. So it could be that one player. It can be a singular player, but you have to. Like, Dabo, you're 16th in recruiting rankings right now at a high school. You can't be that and not add players out of the portal, and you lose 12 guys. In the last 3 years, I think Greg pointed this out in the chat, you've lost 30 players, you've added 2. Right? So you're losing 30 veteran players, and you only add 2.
It's crazy.
Where's your leadership going to come from if you're only adding high school players?
At that point, that's unsustainable math. Emil says that also goes for Dabo's approach to coaching staff pre-Garrett Riley. So you did see growth in the Garrett Riley hire. Now, I think there's some questions about, is Garrett Riley being allowed to operate? Did Garrett Riley get hired to come run Clemson's offense, which is what some people will tell you, where it's like, well, why'd you hire Garrett Riley then? So, like, maybe there's still some evolution that has to take place there. But if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I'm not telling anybody they should or have to, he did seem to, with the Garrett Riley hire, he did seem to show some kind of change in evolution, Jake. And so if I'm a Clemson fan, I would be grasping onto that like a life raft in the middle of a storm, that maybe that would trickle down then to roster management as well.
Yeah, Clemson's top 50, right on the edge, 49th in total offense. It's not the only reason they're losing games. I mean, it's the totality of this Clemson team. It's offense, it's defense, it's special teams. Did we think Garrett Riley would be better? Yeah, we absolutely did. But now you got to wonder, okay, well, is it the weapons? Is it the scheme? Is he trying to do too much of what they did a year ago? So there's a lot of issues going on there in Clemson, South Carolina, and they are staring a losing record right in the face right now with Notre Dame heading to Memorial Stadium to take them on.
And remember this, Notre Dame last year, basically, if we look back, are the ones that broke Clemson. At this time last year, Clemson was 8-0. Notre Dame had struggled somewhat in a couple of big moments, but this is the game that kind of got Notre Dame right. They won 35-14. Clemson 7-7 since that game, from 8-0 to 7-7. So now a year later, a better Notre Dame team against a worse Clemson team, admittedly in South Carolina, but I think Notre Dame wins this weekend.
I would be shocked if they didn't. I mean, just think about that, though. Think about where we're at a point where we're saying that about Clemson. Look, Tyler might call back in after this game and have some more words for Dabo. Dabo has to understand that it's not going in the right direction. And I agree with a lot of what he said the other day on that phone call in their record and who they've been and what they've done, and it's worked for them. But you got to evolve.
He's right about his bona fides. He's again wrong about this whole idea that he doesn't want expectation to rise, which is just silly. Again, I go back to the salesman example. A lot of you are salesmen out there. You have a record year. Everybody's celebrating. Then what do you get hit with next year? Your quota is your record year. Yeah. That sucks. But it's just how the world works. So, that's where Dabo's wrong. And, again, the very ominous end of the rant where Dabo's like, I'm going to do what I think is best for this program no matter what, because outside looking in, what he thinks is a bit behind the times, unless he evolves. So we'll see. What do you think? Do you think Garrett Riley has full autonomy of the offense?
I think he does, because Dabo doesn't call plays. I'm not sure Dabo could do that.
That's true.
Right now at this point in his career. He's never been that, actually.
That's a good point.
He was never a coordinator. So you might be, you and I know this playing for LSU. You might be, hey, I'd really like you to do this if you could from the head coach.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's out there no, I called this play.
Ask the bench, was DJ Uiagalelei actually a good player and Clemson did him wrong?
He caught way too many strays. Finding that out.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting picture, because he's maybe not the 5-star phenom that he was kind of expected to be, but also you're following up Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, and even before that, guys like Taj Boyd, what are you supposed to do? It's
Charlie Whitehurst.
It's kind of an impossible situation. Yeah,
come on, get my guy.
No, I wasn't
really. Come on, man, third-round pick. Come on,
Charlie.
Decade in the league. What are we doing here?
True. But no. So Uiagalelei, it's a bit of both. He is better than the crap that he got at Clemson. But Also, he was just being asked to fill impossible shoes because who the hell was going to follow up guys like Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, who in college were unbelievable.
Yeah, and T. Higgins and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and he didn't have those
Sammy
guys to throw to.
Watkins.
He didn't have those guys to throw to.
He does not. He does not have. He doesn't have
Neither does
anybody
Clemson.
that looks related to those guys.
All right, so Clemson in a weird spot. When we get back, let's get into some of these biggest questions from the weekend and some more Michigan sign stealing information coming up next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to iticollege.edu, ITI Technical College, iticollege.edu for 50 years. ITI has been changing lives. And look, if you've already had your life changed by ITI, go find them on social media and check out all the great events they got going on this fall. But look, if you want to get that AOS degree in just 1 to 2 years, change your life for the better. Remember, there's not a better return on investment in the entire state, and it's top 20 in the country for any school. 4-year, 2-year, it doesn't matter. Trade school, it doesn't matter. That's a Georgetown study that proved that basically what you pay for school versus what you can be expected to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Nothing's better in the state than ITI, and it's right here in Baton Rouge, locally family-owned, iticollege.edu.
All right, a couple of ways to get in contact with them to speak to admissions. 877-591-1070 is the phone number. Admissions@iticollege.edu is the email. Go ahead and have that conversation with them. But, as we always encourage you, go see them off Airline Highway and check that campus out, iticollege.edu.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here. Now, for life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Culinary. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza. Paul Nolan, Dwayne Colucci, and Matt Humans all among our guests, and we're getting ready for a huge college football weekend. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Thursday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep things alive. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, hour number 2, rolling right along. So the Michigan sign stealing thing, where did y'all land on it yesterday from a punishment standpoint?
I don't really know what the punishment's going to be, T. We didn't really talk about punishment just because unprecedented in college football, like we know what the NFL did with the Patriots, but we don't know what they're going to do. And there's the thing that's unique about this story is it continues to grow by the day.
Yeah.
You know, like typically, like when a story breaks, within 3 days, you kind of have a bulk of the information. But with this one, it started out going to games, and then it was recording, and then it was passing it to other teams potentially, like South Carolina, and it's, you know, Connor Stalions on the sideline. I mean, there's just
the Central Michigan angle still.
I mean, TCU knew it the whole time, and they had fake signals, and that's why they won the game.
So again, yes, correlation between success and lack thereof, and knowing the signals remains a fascinating part of all of this. My biggest thing that I didn't know about, Jake, was, okay, how normal is this? And I don't know if I'm being taken for a ride here, but I feel like it's actually not that normal. I feel like the more you read about and the more you see coaches, like The Athletic did a survey with 50 coaches.
Yeah.
A bunch of head coaches, a bunch of assistants throughout the country, all different conferences. And on average, they asked them to first rate the seriousness of the offenses 1 through 5. Nearly 50% rated at a 5. In fact, if you average out the number, it was like a 4.2.
Mm-hmm.
So vast majority saying that they think it's actually very serious. And then also 47 of the 50 saying that Michigan should be punished heavily for this. And now you have reports that the Big Ten coaches apparently all stayed on the conference call. Jim Harbaugh to hang up yesterday. They stayed on the conference call with the Big Ten yesterday, and they all complained and said they thought this was crazy. So, like, there's always, one side that's going to tell you that, no, this is normal. Everybody's doing it, and this is just an escalation. And in some ways that is true because everybody is trying to steal signs. But it does seem like the depths, the intricacy, the extent to which it went, even amongst thieves, appears to have crossed a pretty serious line. I just don't know what you punish with. I mean, do you hold them out the Big Ten championship game or something like that? Like, I'm not sure. And only time will tell, but still pretty fast. I guess the only thing that I'm adding new here, and then we can move on, is just that I'm starting to believe, and maybe I'm a sucker here, but I am starting to believe that they crossed a bigger line than maybe I originally thought.
Without question, because, again, like things continue to come out about this. And so if it was just the initial, hey, they were going to games, man, they were scouting, they were getting ahead of it, okay. That happens across the country all the time in high school football, right? I mean, we see that all the time. And then it's like, okay, well, the more information. But if they had someone on the Central Michigan sideline who had recording glasses and all these things that we think might be true, and then you got Jim McElwain T saying he ain't on our list of pregame passes.
No,
like, I don't know how he got down there. Right?
I mean, I know how military techniques. The very things like he said in his LinkedIn that he learned in the Marine Corps, using that to infiltrate. And Central Michigan's going to be a bit more lax on game day than like one of the big blue bloods would be. I thought the Josh Pate thread was amazing on it, where you can clearly see the reflection of the alleged camera in the Ray-Bans linked to the Ray-Ban glasses that were allegedly in use. And the picture, did you see the picture of him running where you see his clipboard and it's just a blank white clipboard? Like, it's a pure prop clipboard. The fact that he had Nike shoes doctored to look like Adidas shoes to match the rest of the staff, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I kind of
hiding
love
his face whenever a player got on close to the sideline.
And to be fair, You could do that a lot of places. If you have the confidence to pull it off, you could do that a lot of places because you just don't. It's not like you know everybody that's on that sideline on game day anyway. It's a bunch of faces showing up. You've got bigger things that you're worried about. So it's crazy, man. It's impressive. We'll see what ends up happening punishment-wise. I'm just not sure.
People, real quick, sorry to cut you off.
Ahead.
People want it this year, though. Like these coaches that are going against Michigan, I don't know that they're going to get it. And the College Football Playoff Committee, I mean, they kind of came out like, look, we're going to rate off what we see on the field. We're not going to worry about what's going on off the field. Well, I'm like, it kind of affects on the field. So I don't know what happens. But these coaches, a lot of them, they want it done right now and this year.
Well, and it's because if Michigan wins a national championship, then what are you going to do?
It's going to be nullified probably if all this becomes true, and then you have no national champion.
And then it looks awful for the sport, and it's just a complete disaster. It's going to be so funny to see. They say reputation takes a lifetime to build and a second to tear down. What if Michigan loses one of these games to Ohio State or Penn State? I mean, all of a sudden then everything, whether this is fair or not, it does not matter. All of a sudden, everything that Harbaugh has built over the last 3 years is torn down. All the credit, all the goodwill, all the success, all of it will be erased under the taint of cheating. If they still win, it'll be tainted, but not erased, right? But if you go and you lose to Ohio State now in Ann Arbor after dominating them 2 years in a row because this time you don't have their signals or they changed them or they're aware of what you've been doing, well, geez. That's just going to be an awful look for Michigan.
Again, I've said this for about 3 weeks now, or however long this has been a story. NCAA needs to throw the full book at Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, and he needs to be the Chargers head coach. Just saying.
Exactly.
That's what needs to happen. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying that feels like a fair deal for everybody.
Bradley says there's a difference between gaming the system and cheating the system. What Michigan did is clear the latter. I kind of see what you're getting at there for sure.
I mean, Matt told you yesterday. I mean, Flynn said yesterday, T, he would sit at the 10-yard line after he got the opposing team signal, and he would signal, to Aaron, like what the coverage was if Aaron wanted it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I got you. I got your signal. He said sometimes they would fake signal me because they realized I got it, and we would fake signal to Aaron because we knew they knew I had it. Right? I mean, it was like a game within a game. And so that happens all the time. All the time that happens. But that's within the game. Be better at your signals, and that's not predetermining what you've got going on. That is me playing the game of, oh, you need to be better at signaling. I've got your signals, and now I'm going to use those.
Cortland Jacobs says, does TCU really beat Michigan because they used dummy signals Michigan didn't already have? That tells you everything. Again, the correlation with the allegations remains the most interesting part, both positive and negative. In the games that Michigan won, reportedly when they had things figured out, and the games in which they lost, in which they allegedly did not have things figured out. Avo says it's crazy that how even though Harbaugh could have been the mastermind behind this, he could literally get out of jail free. Well, yeah,
he will. Just go to the NFL.
Yeah, and also this is just classic mob. You protect yourself organizationally with how you disseminate this information, right? Like you don't have Connor Stallions going directly to Harbaugh, at least not on anything traceable. Or even though they could have done a way better job of hiding the ticket purchases, right? Those are all made under Stallions' names and not through at least like directly through like Harbaugh or through the school or anything. So like the goal is to give here Harbaugh plausible deniability. I think what maybe hurts about that. No, I know.
Yeah, with the rules.
I think what hurts about that too, though, is like he's standing right next to the coordinators on all the at all the games. So
yeah. And then like I mean, just pictures all over the place with him celebrating. Like this guy. I mean, this guy's a part of your program, and even if best case scenario, you had no idea that he was doing this, and you just thought you were really good at advanced scouting. It's within your program, so you're going to get in trouble. That's part of the NCAA rules.
All right, when we get back, let's talk to Caroline Fenton about some good action in the SEC this week and keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon, get it done. 225-888-8888. Gordon McKernan, injury attorney, is going to fight for you. GOURD. on the billboard with the giant pumpkin man. It's a cool giant pumpkin man. The GT, man. Remember, Jaden Daniels, who we all love now, Heisman Trophy candidate, maybe going to win that thing, go to New York City. His journey really started in a lot of ways this time last year. That's when he joined the G team after a fantastic performance because he got it done. And that's what Gordon's going to do for you. Get Gordon. Get it done. 225-888-8888.
You can go to that website, getgordon.com. There you can find all the information. And maybe you're already at work and you can't dial the 8, so it's okay. You can have a chat right there on the website. You can always follow them on all major social media. @GetGordon is the handle there. But if you can, we always encourage you. Your area code in Louisiana, followed by 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
On 1045 this Sunday to catch 3 different NFL games. We start with the noon kickoff, the Seahawks at Ravens. Immediately following that, it's the Cowboys and Eagles. And then our night game, the Bills at Bengals. Catch all of those games here on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
I appreciate this joke. Talking about Michigan and Michigan State, Gulf South says they didn't expect Mel Tucker to beat himself and get fired. He did. doubt that. He definitely did. Let's go to the phone lines right now. We got our girl Caroline Fenton talking a little SEC. Of course, Caroline Fenton on SEC Radio. Catch her and Aaron Murray there. She's on middays up there in Nashville every single day. Host of the Locked on LSU podcast as well. Caroline, what's up? How we feeling today?
It's Bama week. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling excited. I'm juiced and also very, apprehensive at the same time.
Good. I mean, that's what I've been talking about all week. That feeling when you start, it's in your gut, right? It's from the moment that you start thinking about that game, that exact, that combination, excitement, anxiety. Like that's why college football is so much fun, because the disparity of emotions that you're going to be feeling after this game on Saturday night. Caroline, did Aaron ever recover from me accidentally ending our interview yesterday saying that, I don't know, Aaron's UGA teams used to choke, and so maybe Georgia will choke again? I didn't mean it that way. I really didn't. Did he recover?
He never quite recovered. I think that his ego was burned maybe perhaps permanently. I'll be back on with him today, so we'll double check. But you should have seen his face when you said that. He pushed his chair away from his desk a little bit, and he just had a blank stare.
Yeah, I mean, T, you didn't lie.
I felt bad, but that's why it's so mean, and I didn't mean it to sound like that. All I meant is that Georgia teams in the past used to choke, and that while I don't think that Mizzou has much of a chance, maybe Carson Beck just goes out there and crafts the bed or something, right? Maybe
he
they
goes
just
out there and pulls a Murray.
Yeah. Okay. All right, though, Caroline. It is LSU-Alabama week. I know we're all too. It's tough for us to kind of put our analytical hats on and decide what we think about this game. Have you tried to form, or do you think it's even realistic to ask you about any sort of unbiased view or breakdown of this matchup?
Well, every time I try to come up with a good and fair prediction, even taking my purple and gold tinted glasses off and trying to put my analytical hat on, I still struggle because it's good on good or even elite on elite and bad on bad.
Yeah.
So to me, it's really just, who's more elite that day. But I think it really could come down to, between the bad on bad, Alabama's offense versus LSU's defense. It's who's not as bad that day. Can LSU's defensive front just get a couple of timely stops and alleviate some of the pressure off this young secondary? Or is Jalen Milroe just going to drop back and deliver an 80-yard touchdown pass every time they get the ball? Which honestly is a realistic thought. He absolutely positively could do that. Is he going to throw a couple interceptions? I mean, Jalen Milroe, it's not like he's got 15 interceptions on the year, but also it feels like he's just got to throw one interception a game, just as a treat. It's just on his game day checklist.
Yeah, that's true.
So can you get pressured into maybe throwing a couple more of those and giving this LSU offense a couple more opportunities? It's really tough for me just because I don't know who is going to be better that day. I don't know if Alabama is going to miraculously figure out how to play 60 full minutes. I'm going to guess probably not, because we haven't seen them do it all season long. Can LSU's offense take advantage of that and run up the score by 30 plus until it's out of reach and it doesn't matter how elite Alabama plays in the second half? This is just a tough one, honestly. It's a tough one to put my finger on, probably because I have so much emotional investment into it as well.
Exactly.
That doesn't help.
Caroline, what would a win, though, mean for LSU 2 years in a row? And the stat of the week, because we always have a stat of the week, is, starting quarterback hasn't beaten Nick Saban back-to-back years since Drew Brees at Purdue in the late 90s. And so, we know it's not been done very often. But if Jaden Daniels and LSU can do that, although you had national championship aspirations this year, and certainly that's what LSU is as a program, what do you think it could do beating Alabama back-to-back years moving forward?
Well, it's beating Alabama in back-to-back years, which doesn't happen very often. Beating Alabama in Bryant-Denny doesn't happen very often. I mean, before Texas, Alabama won 43 consecutive games at Bryant-Denny. That's just ridiculous. So it's beating Alabama back-to-back years. It's beating Alabama in 3 of the last 5. I mean, I think that's huge. Brian Kelly being 2-0 against Nick Saban. That's a huge testament to what he's been able to do and turn things around in the first 2 years. But beyond just beating Alabama in 2 consecutive years, it's what is still on the table for LSU if you beat Alabama. Going to Atlanta, absolutely still on the table. You still got to beat Florida and Texas A&M, but that's absolutely still on the table. Jaden Daniels' Heisman campaign, that's still on the table. And if you beat Alabama, I think Jaden Daniels will be and should be the front runner for the Heisman. I think he should be the front runner right now. But you beat Bama, he'll be the front runner. If you can't beat Bama, then I don't know if he even gets the invite to New York.
Yeah.
So that's massive. And then, call me crazy, but CFP is still on the table. Because if you beat Bama, you win out, you beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. There is an argument to be made for LSU. Now, if you beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, I do think it's more likely that neither Georgia nor LSU gets in versus both. But there would be an argument and there would be a case for LSU. Now, granted, a lot would have to happen for all things to go right, but you beat Bama, and that's at least still on the table. The door is still open for that possibility.
All right, let's look around.
I'm here for the
SEC.
2007 chaos, by the way, that Caroline's speaking of, for LSU to get
I'm
back
here for the
into
chaos, too. I hope that LSU wins and nobody in the
Look,
SEC makes
there's
it.
not a better national champion than a 2-loss national champion. Just saying.
Yeah, I've always heard that's like an old saying. I've always heard that as well, actually. It's so crazy.
My favorite kind.
Okay, looking around the SEC, you got A&M, Ole Miss, and Oxford. Ole Miss, it kind of feels like Ole Miss fans are constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Lane Kiffin getting some great subtle shots at Jimbo this week. How are you scoring this one?
I like A&M in this one, honestly, for a few reasons. One, it seems like whenever Lane Kiffin can't get the heck off of Twitter all week, he gets embarrassed on Saturday. See every single Alabama game that Lane Kiffin has coached against at Ole Miss. The second thing is probably maybe not really fair. It's just my bias with Lane Kiffin of it seems like whenever things are going really well for Ole Miss, it just goes south. Like last year, they were 7-0 heading into the LSU game, and then they ended the season 8-4, 7-5. Like I'm just waiting for something to go wrong for Lane Kiffin, and probably like the smartest take that I have on this game is I don't think that Ole Miss is very physical at the line of scrimmage. Like Texas A&M's defensive line is tough and big and physical, and they can take the run away from you. I mean, Ole Miss only ran 60 yards against Alabama, only put up 10 yards. Like Ole Miss needs to run the football in order to put up points. I think Texas A&M is going to take that away from them, and I think they're just going to bully them at the line of scrimmage. Max Johnson has struggled at Texas A&M. This offense at Texas A&M has struggled at times with Max Johnson, but I think the Texas A&M's defense is just too tough and will probably overbear and take away what Ole Miss wants to do offensively. Kind of like what we saw in the Alabama game.
Yeah, and we'll see, obviously, if they're not looking ahead thinking that, hey, we go beat Georgia, we could be in our first SEC championship game there in Atlanta. So there's that to add to the equation. But I agree with you with Texas A&M, Caroline. Let's go to the other game of the week outside of LSU-Alabama. That is Mizzou traveling to take on Georgia. Of course, it's in Athens because Georgia doesn't play away games. They only play home games and neutral site games. And so this game's going to be in Athens. Do you give the Mizzou Tigers any opportunity to win this game or even cover the 15.5?
No. And maybe that's so unfair of me because I've been so impressed with what I've seen from Mizzou. And it's not even just impressed from the improvements that they've made from last season, which are incredible. But Brady Cook, Luther Burden, Cody Schrader, like what that offense has done has been really impressive and really consistent. I mean, Missouri could be 8-0 going into this game.
Yeah.
But they haven't seen a defense as good as Georgia's. I mean, really looking at Missouri's schedule, they haven't played a good defense all season long. Memphis doesn't have a good defense. Kansas State doesn't have a very good secondary. We know LSU doesn't have a very good defense. Kentucky doesn't have a very good defense. Georgia has one of the best defenses in the country. I also just think that the talent disparity is too wide right now.
Yeah.
Like Missouri is going to start recruiting better based off of this season. They're going to start getting some of the best recruits in the state of Missouri, but they're just not quite there yet. And especially doing it away from home. Missouri's played on the road at Kentucky, on the road at Vanderbilt. Like those aren't two very difficult environments to play in. Athens, that's a different story.
I think, I mean, it's kind of like we talked about yesterday, right? There's Luther Burden would start on Georgia. You'd be kind of hard-pressed to find
Schrader running back's a dog. I mean, I don't know.
Schrader fine.
I mean, fine?
No, he's really good. I don't know that.
I'm the president of his fan club, and so maybe that's why my octave went up. But he is a stud.
I mean, Georgia does have a white wide receiver named Lad McConkey, so maybe Schrader would start in Georgia. I don't know. You're right. That's a good point. Schrader's fine. Okay, again, but still, we're talking about a couple of positions. I mean, Georgia has the advantage in every other one. If Georgia, make no mistake, if Georgia loses this game, it's a huge credit to Drink, but it's also a complete failure on Kirby Smart and Carson Beck's point. There's no excuse for losing this game at home in which you are drastically better.
Is it bad that for my guy Drink, I just want them to cover? I just want him to cover.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I want him to win.
I mean, you do. Yeah, but there's a long shot. I want my guy Drink just to cover.
Yeah.
Because if you lose by 10 on the road to Georgia and you're in the game in the fourth quarter, they pull away maybe a late score. For Missouri as a program, and Carol, I don't know if you would agree with this, that is growth for that program even in a loss.
Totally. But even it frustrates me when people bring up the game last year at Missouri when it was so close.
Yeah.
Because I think we've seen enough times Georgia just sleepwalk through opponents that they simply don't respect. That wasn't a matter of Missouri closing in on Georgia. That was a matter of Georgia being like, Missouri, we're not scared of you. That's not going to happen this year. Georgia's not sleepwalking past Missouri. This is an opponent that they have to respect. But yeah, I'm with you, Jake. If you keep it close against Georgia, if you keep things interesting against Georgia, especially in a scenario that Georgia's going to respect Missouri, especially in Athens. Yeah,
I get it, guys.
Missouri.
I get it. This is why y'all are both Kentucky fans too, because just being all right or okay, that's super acceptable.
Hold on, USC, Nebraska.
What? Okay, whoa.
Hold on, USC, Nebraska.
Go look at the Big Ten West standings right now.
You don't think Kentucky would be number one in the Big Ten West?
Who's currently tied for first in the Big Ten West
with four other teams
and about to be bowl eligible at 6-3 after a win this weekend? Those Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's right.
Kentucky's got the same record.
Bowl eligible.
Hell
all right.
Yeah, dog.
Classic Kentucky mindset. Bowl eligibility.
That is the classic Kentucky mindset. Actually,
that's what she's saying. You're comparing Nebraska like they're better than Kentucky.
Because they are. They got Matt Rule. They got Matt Rule.
Is Nebraska averaging more than 14 points a game?
It doesn't matter. You ever heard of the black shirt defense? Caroline. Hey, wait.
I have. It's sick.
What's going to happen? So what's going to happen this weekend with y'all's Wildcats? You think you can finally get it done in Starkville after blowing a couple big ones at home in Lexington?
Caroline, if you can't go to Starkville right now and beat this Mississippi State team, then you deserve all the hate that T-Bob gives Mark Stoops.
Yeah, even with Mark Stoops' expectations being at or near the floor, you got to beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
That's why Sam Pittman fired his offensive coordinators, because they couldn't beat Mississippi State.
Exactly. It's that simple. Caroline Fenton, Sirius XM SEC Radio. Check her out later today. Sitting down with my guy, Aaron Murray. Our just wonderful, incestuous family of radio hits continues to roll right along. And Caroline, thank you so much. Also, Locked On LSU. Check out that pod, daily LSU content. And if you're ever in Nashville, midday up there as well. Caroline, thank you so much.
Appreciate you. You're the best. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Caroline.
Have a good one. Yeah, bro. Don't be coming to Nebraska now, dog.
Matt Fool.
Now's not the time. No.
T-Bob, I got some good news for you.
When's the last time Nebraska was bowl eligible?
I don't know, but she asked if they average 14 points per game. They average 20.2.
I mean,
a game.
There you go. Give me that defense. Go to the black shirts giving up.
They only give up 18.6. 21st in the country.
Going to East Lansing this weekend, boys.
Hey, T.
Coming out with a dub.
You know there is a world, and it's almost like a good chance of happening, Kentucky, Nebraska in a bowl game against each other.
Good. I welcome it.
We would be the only show in Louisiana that would do the deepest deep dive in Nebraska-Kentucky bowl game. Somewhere in Mobile, Alabama, probably.
When we get back, more OTB. Keep it locked.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, look at this schedule, though. Michigan State, Maryland, who kind of sucks now, and Wisconsin. Bro, if you win all 3 of those games, you're an 8-win team.
Did you bet that?
I don't know. I'm going to have to check. Maybe Nebraska can make it for Colorado. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. You need somebody who's going to be there for you and your family when it comes to getting a new vehicle, whether it's a new vehicle, Toyota certified used vehicle, where you still get warranty coverage, or maybe just need a rent. You want All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.com.
Go to the website today. I was not hating on Mobile. I was just saying there's a bowl game there that Kentucky could end up in. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com is the website today. Buying new, leasing, and renting. Everything is available in that leasing and rental process. So no matter which vehicle you need, go ahead and reserve that today. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206.
Join me for a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Rouse's, Luke Johnson on the Saints, Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers. And we'll head to Tuscaloosa and chat with Tony Tsoukalas about Nick Saban's Tide. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Should I just call you Tyler Dull from now on?
It would be way different because it's not spelled like that.
Let me tell you, when I was doing the intro yesterday, going around the room, because of the Tyler, I almost called him Tyler.
Taylor.
Mario does it like half the time.
Yeah, I really
Tyler.
do.
I'm still not sure why, but he does
well,
do
I
it.
mean, Handy calls him Mario. So.
Back when I saw Taylor a lot less every day at work, I would call him Tyler occasionally. A mistake.
Oi, bruv.
Disrespectful.
Doesn't this look like I'm like a
Oi!
UK? Yeah, exactly, right?
Just as much as
Robbie Ashford's gonna run all over you this weekend, bruv. Just wait.
Mario apologizes.
Did you watch Attack the Block yet?
No. Oh, the sci-fi movie.
Yeah, the British sci-fi
Bro,
movie.
when I tell you I have not done much of anything except for wallow in self-pity and pain, that is
I was
pretty
thinking
much
maybe it
been
would take your mind off of it for a little bit.
I will say this. I have I've gotten it like last night. I actually played. I played some video games for a little bit, and man, that was actually pretty therapeutic. Got me outside of my head for a little bit, and you're like seated, so it's not hard physically. That was nice. I continue to love Baldur's Gate 3, just slowly but surely, 20 minutes at a time. It's so good.
I have fallen into Retro Bowl College.
I have too. We're off to a really, I ended up dropping a game, but we're off to a really solid year two. Top 15.
Yeah.
We're cruising in the right direction.
Yeah, so I'd been Retro Bowl, but I did the college after we had that conversation. And when I returned to kick for a touchdown, I was so excited to screenshot it and send it to T-Bob.
Yeah. What difficulty are you playing on?
Whatever.
Better not be adaptive, son. You better bump that thing up to hard.
What are the levels?
I think there's adaptive, which is supposed to go to whatever you're playing at.
Yeah.
And then I'm easy, and then hard, and then there's extreme. Extreme's kind of lame though because
tried
there's no
extreme,
bad teams. It just makes everybody 5
So
stars,
right
which
now,
isn't actually fun.
right now I'm ULM and only have the quarterback's the only one that was recruited. Everybody else is a walk-on.
Hell yeah, that's a gritty team right there, bro. I did
Off
have
the
to
bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I did have to D-on a couple D linemen.
Yeah.
I inherited some garbage.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
gave them a year.
I just cut them.
And they were so awful. I said, I don't care about team morale. Your ass is cut. See ya. See ya. Don't come back. Get a stop. Get one stop.
Yes.
And then I finally recruited a big 5-star, and he's getting it done. Hell yeah. RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me. Refuel me. Rejuve me. If you want to feel better, younger, stronger, faster, you want to go to Rejuve Me Medical. They do draw your labs, figure out where your body's deficient, where it needs help, and put together a plan customized for you to get you where you want to be. So I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, male or female, understand the aging process and fight the effects of untreated aging with Rejuve Me Medical.
Go to that website today, and remember, you can get that consultation set up because maybe you don't know. Maybe you just don't know what's going on. You don't feel like yourself, though. Go in, get your labs drawn. We've had so many people. It's a quick, easy process. You're in, you're out. Get that done. Set it up at RejuveMeMedical.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Thursday, November 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 70. Coming up on OTBOT, we have a new edition of Big Deal or No Big Deal, and Chef Michael Johnson joins the show at 9:15 for a new edition of Munchies. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome back, OTB, hour number 3, which means we got Munchies coming up next. Big deal or no big deal right now. Hope you're all having a great day. Rolling right along here. Let's dive into some big deal or no big deal.
Big deal. Ain't no big deal.
Big deal.
No big deal.
Big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Big deal or no big deal? The Texas Rangers won the World Series.
Big deal for them. First time in their franchise history. They've had a lot of really good players. They had some close moments a little over a decade ago, back-to-back World Series, Josh Hamilton and that squad, and they fall just short. I don't care because I'm not a Rangers fan, but shout out to former LSU baseball player Josh Smith, Catholic high grad as well. He gets a World Series title, so I'm always happy for those guys.
Yeah, I went to a Rangers game once in 2012, and I caught a ball from Ichiro, so that was a good memory.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he was on the Mariners at the time.
He's so
Did you give it to a kid?
No, I kept it.
You were
I was a kid.
Yeah, I was about to say, how old were you?
No, I was just kidding.
Yeah, that was a good memory, so a big deal, I guess.
No, big deal. They were a big long shot. I mean, they kind of took over the odds, if you will. And a couple years ago, they lost over 100 games.
Yeah.
It was 2 seasons ago. So big turnaround by the Rangers. Big deal.
The ratings say no big deal.
Yeah. Well,
as in 2016, 22.8 million was the average viewership for the World Series. In 17, with LA and Houston, that would drop down to 18.9. And it's been a pretty slow decline since 8.5 million average viewership, which granted it's, Rangers and Diamondbacks. So
yeah,
that's how these things go, I suppose. But,
that and then like the ones before, you've had like some combination of the Astros, Braves, Dodgers, Cubs.
God, Dodgers Rays was pathetic too, though, in 2020. That was down to
the Rays portion of that.
Yeah.
Rays have, a handful of fans. So
okay, things I do like. So Corey Seager wins his second World Series MVP. Kind of crazy. He becomes the 4th player ever to do so. How about this? Corey Seager and Reggie Jackson Now the only players ever to win World Series MVPs on 2 different teams. Pretty good company there. And then Bruce Bochy with his 4th
coming out of retirement.
World Series title coming out of retirement. And here's the craziest stat you'll hear all day. The Rangers, 11-0 on the road in the postseason.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to win 11 games in a row, much less at the time when it matters most. That's amazing.
I mean, Corey Seager, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, because Reggie Jackson did it with the A's and Yankees, so he'd have been the only player to do it one in each league. National League with the Dodgers, American League with the Rangers. And so, look, he certainly earned his big contract with the Rangers. I mean, he was incredible down the stretch and in the playoffs.
Shout out. But kind of no big deal, but still good.
All right, so this is a big deal. Like, I'm not giving y'all the option, but I definitely want to highlight it here because of how big of a deal it is. Have y'all seen LSU women's new hoops locker room?
No, I saw a screenshot of the video. I did not watch the video.
Yeah, man, it looks great. I mean, you could tell the players were so excited about it. So LSU women, they get a brand new locker room. Certainly get rewarded for that national championship, and it is only the beginning. You watch this team playing these exhibition games. They are on a mission, and they open up with T-Bob's number 20 Colorado here in a couple of days.
I don't care about Colorado women's basketball.
You wear Colorado shirts. I didn't know if it was football or women's basketball.
Well, no, I just need Colorado to win this weekend so I can freaking get that bet to pay off, even though I don't know if it's going to happen. That's a big deal. That's awesome. They deserve to be. They deserve to be rewarded, and it looks like Haley Van Lith is just going to add to what is already a beast squad here. What do you got, Mario?
Yeah, that is a big deal. Hopefully, Dick Vitale and Bob Mann don't cry about it on Twitter like they did with the football locker room. But my entry here is the Buffalo Bills signing Leonard Fournette to their practice squad. That happened a couple days ago. I feel like James Cook is having an okay season, 486 yards, but he only has 1 touchdown. Obviously, they want to run Josh Allen a lot less. Fournette hasn't played in a while, but could be a valuable addition. I think it's a big deal. I think he could help them.
They've been searching. I'll say it's a big deal because they've been searching for a running attack and a running game for the last couple of years. It's been something that they've been missing. I am surprised that Lenny has not been signed to this point. But now that he is signed, I will say it's a big deal because they're still trying to find something on the ground to go with Josh Allen and Diggs and the receivers.
Yeah, look, if he's in shape and he comes in ready to go and can contribute, it's a big deal for the Buffalo Bills. I really thought even 2 years ago they were going to make a move for a big-time running back. I mean, the past couple of years, Josh Allen's kind of been their only running game. I mean, if he's not on his game, you see them lose a lot because he's kind of been their entire offense. I thought they had a shot at signing Kareem Hunt in the offseason. They didn't go after him for whatever reason. They didn't trade for Dalvin Cook, which that kind of looks like a good decision now. So if Fournette can work out for him, get him another rotational piece in that backfield, I like the move.
No big deal. It's still just going to be Josh Allen's the offense. They're not going to change it.
Yeah, well, if they do that, they're going to end up right where they do every single year, watching somebody else play in the playoffs.
No, well, I mean, they play in the playoffs too. But.
Yeah, but they don't get as far as the other teams, and they still watch them play in the playoffs.
True.
Speaking of offense, the Atlanta Falcons have decided to bench Desmond Ridder and go with Taylor Heineke as their starting quarterback, a move we kind of all saw coming even a couple weeks ago. But for a team that the Saints are battling in that NFC South, big deal or no big deal?
I think it's a potential big deal because I think Heineke's good. I mean, if you think back to the Brady Super Bowl year, who got closest in the playoffs to beating him? It was Taylor Heineke.
They lost by 5 points that game.
They had that final drive trying to go in and score. I think that the shocking thing was when Heineke signed in Atlanta and they were immediately like, he's the backup. So no, I think I think it makes the Falcons better. And so when you're embroiled in a tough division race, that's a big deal if you're a Saints fan.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal because I think he's a better quarterback as well. I think he should have been the starter. I think he has had more moments in the NFL, certainly, and I was hoping that Ridder would be the quarterback when the Saints played him both times.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Doesn't look like he's going to be that guy. I want to ask this one certainly to T-Bob and get y'all's thoughts as well. Big deal or no big deal, because we didn't get a chance to talk with you yesterday. Washington is outside the top 4 in the initial college football playoff ranking, but you're telling me they've got the best win. Because Oregon is the top-rated one-loss team. So, undefeated team with the best win according to your rankings, and you still leave Washington on the outside looking in.
And there's 6 Pac-12 teams in the top 25. Yeah, it's really dumb, but it doesn't matter. Kalen DeBoer had the correct alpha response, being like, it's the initial ranking. Like, whatever. Like, we're going to have Washington's got plenty of opportunity to prove itself. I mean, Georgia's got 3 ranked games. Michigan's got 2 top 10 games. Washington's got 3 ranked games. Like, Washington will end up at the top 4 if they take care of business. My biggest takeaway from yesterday, y'all, is that clearly the Big 12 does not control their own destiny. Like, if everybody else, like Florida State has the easiest path. Florida State should absolutely finish. If they don't, it's an epic choke job. But, like, unless somebody, and then you imagine Big 10 will get in there, SEC should get in there, and then I think one of the Oregon or Washington out of the Pac-12 will emerge in the Big 12. I don't care if Texas and Oklahoma went out. I don't think they get in if everybody else takes care of business.
Texas and Oklahoma need to worry about this week.
Yeah.
Kansas State traveling to Austin to take on Texas, and then Bedlam and Stillwater. They need to worry about what they can control this week before they start to look forward.
I agree. And
God, I want
Sarkisian's-
Bedlam to be just.
Okay, but here's the deal.
I
Big
know.
deal or no big deal, Bedlam.
I know.
Like
91 to 19. I know.
But all national sports writers talk and tweet about Bedlam like they care or love it. But who actually has a positive Bedlam memory you can think of?
Okay, so I've had a chance to go to that stadium during this week, coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great rivalry environment. Like the fans itself in that stadium, like it's a different feeling. I understand what you're saying because the series has been so lopsided, but I will say like it's better in my opinion when it's in Stillwater.
I'm not saying that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State don't care about this. What I'm saying is a lot of national football prognosticators are like, we're so sad to see Bedlam go. And then I ask them, give me one Bedlam memory, and nobody has one.
Yeah.
Because the series is crap. If Oklahoma State wins again, they won last time in Stillwater. If they win again in Stillwater, it'll be the first time since 1930 and 1932 that they won back-to-back in Stillwater. So, I'm hyped for it. I think it looks like a very good game. Ollie Gordon's balling out right now.
God.
That's the Oklahoma State running back.
I don't
He's leading
remember
the country.
what show was it. This show or was it another show that I laid out what he's done over the last couple of weeks? I don't really remember, but he is balling. He is somebody
200 a game over the last 5.
And he's the leading rusher in the country right now, and that is with a beginning of the season where he wasn't really even playing.
Yeah.
Like he didn't really start playing until after that South Alabama loss, and like T-Bob mentioned, his last 5 games, 121, 136, 168, 282, 271.
That's not bad. And it comes at a time when Oklahoma's kind of panicking defensively a bit and got pushed around by Kansas. One thing Aaron did discover, though, that doesn't feel great for the that's in the Kansas State game. In the Kansas State game, for whatever reason this year, Jake, Kansas State is completely different on the road than they are at home. Like, they're dominant at home, and they kind of suck on the road. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Texas having to play Malik and everything, but I feel better about Texas winning than I do Oklahoma. Like, I think Gundy and Oklahoma State has the greater chance at the upset here. All right. That'll do it. Big deal. Or does anybody else have any? Sorry.
Yeah, I got one more. Jalen Cook has been ruled ineligible by the NCAA. They denied his immediate eligibility waiver request since he's a 2-time transfer, so he's ineligible for Matt McMahon this year.
That's a big deal.
Big deal. Dumb. NCAA. Dumb. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you actually do? And that's not rhetorical. Like, somebody give me something that they do that makes sense.
Who, the NCAA?
Yeah, just something. Just anything. Exactly. I mean, okay, the basketball tournament. Yeah, you do a pretty good job there.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all they do.
The postseason tournaments.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, bad.
I mean, we've had players that sign with Clemson, play with Clemson, go to Northwestern, then come back to Clemson football, and they're eligible. So, I don't know.
Yeah, feels hopeless too. Like they're talking about they're going to give them new information and hopefully they reverse it, but they needed like a whole act of Congress to reverse the Trez Walker thing. So I don't see Jalen Cook playing this season.
Yeah, and he was
Tez did get his finally. 4 games in.
Look,
he was going to discover a new piece of information. like we haven't seen whatever it was, but just discover a fake new piece of information like UNC did.
What's going to be a big deal? I mean, he was going to be Matt McMahon's guy on offense, averaging over 20 points per game the last 2 years at Tulane. Like, this is a big blow. McMahon was expecting him to be the anchor of that offense.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Coming up next, Munchies. Get your Munchies questions in the chat for Chef Michael Johnson. More OTB coming up.
OTB, OT.
Noel Family Distillery. Noel Family Distillery right there in Deville. Buy from the boot, people. That's right. You want finely crafted, exquisite spirits. You want Noel. You want the official tequila of LSU Athletics? Well, yeah, that's Noel. Maybe you like Reposado. I personally am still just a little Blanco boy, though the Reposado is very tasty. It's a little sweeter. I think I like a bit more of what I describe as dry. I'm not entirely sure. But all I know is that I like how stuff tastes, right? And I love how the spirits that Natalie and Chip Noel have created taste. So support Louisiana. Buy from the just put it to the test, okay? And if you don't like it, whatever. But just try it because you're going to be blown away, I think.
You will like it.
I think so. And it's probably at your local bar, grocery store. Just ask for Noel when you go in Noel Family Distillery.
Yeah, rums, tequila, vodka, canned cocktails, as well as we've been telling you about the last couple of days. And remember, you can go check them out as well in Deville. So book that appointment today. Book your visit online, noeldistillery.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ryan Clark talking LSU-Bama. Mike Triplett previewing Saints Bears. Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's happening, man? Welcome back to OTB. It's time for Munchies with our guy, Chef Michael Johnson. Chef, what's up, brother? What's going on, man?
I'm good, fellas.
It's great to talk with you again. Sorry we missed
Dude,
you
you had a little
last
glee
week.
in your voice, almost like it's LSU-Bama. Did you hear that too?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it.
Yeah.
F him. F Alabama. Chef, how would you cook elephant if you had to?
Low and low, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
Feels like
You
it'd be a
gotta take
tough
your time
meat,
and
right?
enjoy
Like
it.
that would be the only way to break that meat up, huh? I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you think elephant crackling would be good?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know too much about the elephant diet. I'd have to study up on that. Pigs eat lots of nuts and stuff like that, acorns and stuff. So the pig tastes good. I have to study up on the elephant
Well,
diet.
look, I know a lot of Alabama fans, and they seem to love nuts as well. So I'm sure there's some similarities there between pigs and
there you
Alabama
go.
fans.
Yeah.
Hashtag Munchies. I'm thinking about adding savory cheesecakes to a menu. Any tips on prepping them? Planning on both Italian and Cajun style fillings with varying sauces for topping.
God, man, I love savory cheesecakes. You got to be careful of how much liquid you're putting in there. Like the cheesecake desires a certain consistency. So, like if you're putting crab or something in there, you want to make sure you drain the liquids out so that you're not thinning it out, because it needs to set, right? I don't know. I'm not much of a baker, and I will always say that. I enjoy and appreciate baking, but it's never been my forte. So. But I do love some savory cheesecakes.
Yeah, I've never. Going back to the elephant
Crackling
portion
cheesecake?
of this, I guess I've never thought about like what the actual animal eats and that going into your thought process there. Like, how much does that go into it? Like when you're maybe trying something that's a little bit different, something a little bit wilder. Like, how much do you dive into what they're actually ingesting?
I mean, it's really important. What a creature eats. Like grass-fed beef. If it's eating grain, it's got to fatten it up, but it's also not necessarily healthy for the creature.
Yeah.
Grass-fed beef tends to be a little bit leaner, but it has a cleanness to it that's unmatched. So me myself personally, I look into it just about into any creature that I cook. How it's treated while it's living, and then how it's treated when it's killed.
Yeah.
That's a better word, is important. If the animal was stressed when it was slaughtered, it makes a difference. It has hormones in its muscle tissue, and that makes a difference when you're eating it. It can bitter it up and make the texture of it taste different. And then how it's processed is important. So I pay attention to it from the life cycle of the animal all the way across to when it goes into the plate, reaches the dish room, to the trash can to see whether it's been consumed or not. So,
Hashtag Munchies. What Thanksgiving dish are you most looking forward to?
any of them. It's a day that I don't cook.
That's right. I love that.
Actually,
I love when you talk about it.
Actually, this year I'm going to cook for my kids. My kids have asked me to cook, so we're going to have Thanksgiving at my house and turkey and just traditional Thanksgiving. So I'm actually looking forward to cooking everything this year. Because it's been like 10 years off, and it's been a nice run. But
I cannot even fathom how good Chef's gravy probably is. From the turkey, it's probably just amazing.
When you cook for the ones that you love, it's even more special. Like you put more energy into it, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Hashtag Munchies. How dark do you go with the seafood gumbo roux, and what all do you put in it?
I take my roux nutty brown.
All of them?
I call it nutty brown because all of them. Yeah, it's just a flavor and a smell that I like about gumbo. Like every once in a while I'll make a chicken and sausage that's not thickened heavy with roux and use like filet and kind of make it a soupy gumbo. But it's peanut butter brown.
Well, hey, what's the prep time going to be? So you said you take, a decade off of Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving always feels like the most prep time in the kitchen whenever it comes to like preparing, because there's so many different things and dishes that people like. Like, what's the prep time going to be for you?
Probably like 3 days, and I say 3 days because I like to start the turkey out and brine it.
Mm-hmm.
get the salty brine liquid into the muscle tissue. But then I like to pull it out of that brine and pat it dry and salt the skin so that it crisps up during the cooking process. So at least 48 hours for that. But that's not necessarily all prep time. That's just time to let the meat and the creature, the process do itself. I can shorten most prep times by a quarter to what most home cooks do, just by using my knife and brushing through stuff. I've stepped into some Thanksgiving prep days before and shortened the day by a significant amount because like watching your grandma or your aunt cut potatoes or whatever, that might take a good hour or so. I can take that down in about 10 minutes, yeah.
Bobby Boucher's Lawnmower says, #Munchies, best ways to prepare fresh tuna besides seared, sashimi, or poke, or is that pretty much it?
Oh, man, he just said it all.
Yeah.
The quality of the meat is there, when it's raw. And so that's why it's so great at those ways. You can do like a ceviche or something like that with tuna, but, it kind of discolors it and it doesn't look as pretty. But I hate to take a beautiful piece of tuna and then cook the hell out of it, and you're losing the nutrient value out of it, and I think you're also losing the quality from it. Anything where it's near rare or raw is ideal because it's so high quality. Assuming you got the high quality piece of tuna.
Yeah. #Munchies. How do I make flan without cracking it during the baking process?
Yeah, again, baking's just not my forte. And I know that you have to be, you want to whip air into it, lots of air. And so, I do know a little bit about that. But getting the air in there and putting it in the dish and then baking it quickly is going to be important. And I think also you don't want to use granulated sugar in a flan. You want to use powdered sugar in a flan. Because what happens is granulated sugar, it's granules, right? So it breaks the cell structure in there. So if you're whipping it, you're actually going to, it's kind of like moving sand around your dish. So most of the time you want to use powdered sugar because that dissolves in and will help set better than granulated sugar.
#Munchies. What ingredients besides the eggs does chef use to make deviled eggs?
I make them like my grandma did with, good mustards. Like I like Plockman's mustard, something that's got a little bite in it. Maybe some pickled jalapenos in there. Not too terribly difficult. Some good mayonnaise, Blue Plate versus, that other stuff, Miracle Whip. That stuff is like awful.
I'm not sure that's actually like a real food.
I love Miracle Whip.
No,
the F off,
either.
dude. Miracle Whip's got that tangy zip. If you don't like the tangy
Miracle
zip,
Whip is not real mayonnaise.
That was a direct poke at T-Bob because I know he likes it.
Yeah, if you don't like that tangy zip,
it's not good.
Probably got a little.
Well, we'll go with an aioli then. I'll make an aioli and put it in there. Yeah.
Aioli's just a fancy saying mayonnaise.
That's right. I don't like to go terribly bougie with my deviled eggs, man. My grandma used to make them, and I would sit there, and as soon as she could make one, I would eat one.
Yeah.
I would go Cool Hand Luke on her.
Yeah.
So
They
they
are maybe. If we were to make a list of top 5 most poppable foods, you just pop one in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Deviled eggs is easily
You don't
in the
take
top 3.
You don't take a bite of a deviled egg.
Hell no. Just
You chew.
bloop, bloop, bloop. You can almost hear the sound effect as they enter your mouth, bloop.
You like the Popeye guy, the character on Popeye with the cheeseburgers.
It's definitely one of those weird foods where there are certain foods out there that when you change their form, they become easier to eat, right? Like if you were to tell someone, hey, do you want to eat 20 tortillas to start your meal? You're like, what? No. Well, what if I cut them up and fry them? And you're like, yeah, hell yeah, give me some queso.
You're right.
Yeah, let's do it, right? It's like, are you going to eat 20? Are you going to eat 8 scrambled eggs? Probably not, but hell, I'll eat 16 deviled eggs that equal 8.
Yeah.
It's I've never understood that. #Munchies. I don't know that I understand this either. Is there anything more insulting than someone throwing their plate away upside down? What does that mean? Do you know, Chef? Am I missing something?
I think it means like they're kind of trying to hide their plate in the trash. They're trying to. I think what they're saying is that it's kind of indicative that they weren't eating the food and they just kind of went and threw it away in the trash can and were trying to cover their tracks, so to speak, instead of, like for me, I appreciate good feedback, honest feedback, whether it's good or bad, like I like honest feedback. And I think the point there is that somebody's, especially if they say, oh, I love the food, and then go throw half of it away in the trash can, turn the plate upside down and trying to hide that they didn't eat it. So
I put mine upside down because the dog likes to try to go over there and get the plate. So I put it upside down so she can't go in there and get it.
Hashtag Munchies smoked turkey necks in your gumbo, yes or no?
Oh, I definitely would. I love turkey necks, man. Absolutely.
Hashtag Munchies best steak cut to use for burrito bowl meal prepping.
I'm a huge fan of flank steak or tri-tip. It's got a little stability to it with the texture, but you can also cook it medium rare and it still tastes good and be able to chew it. So one of those two cuts I think is great. And like a tri-tip, you can throw it on actually either one of them you can throw on a high heat with a flame underneath of it, get some smoke and flame kiss on there, and have good taste to it. And still, cook it medium rare, and it'd be fantastic.
Chef, where do you follow meal prepping? Because I understand why people do it because of their busy schedules, but don't you lose some of the nutrients when you meal prep?
You hit it on the head, man. You definitely do. Like, there's a convenience to it.
Yeah.
But there definitely is, if you're cooking it, if you've already cooked it and then you're cooking it further, cooking it second time, the second time's just pulling more stuff out. And it depends on how far you cook it and so on and so forth. But, most people, they just throw it in a microwave, and the way a microwave works, it cooks from the middle out. So if you're putting a steak in there and you're microwaving it, it's not going to be medium rare anymore. By the time you get done microwaving, it's going to be probably medium well to well done. And I see the value in it for people who have busy schedules, but myself, I'm a fan of taking time to make the quality meal.
Hashtag Munchies. Let's see what we got here. Hashtag Munchies. Cornmeal or breadcrumbs for fried bass?
That's a good one. I think the Southerner in me likes cornmeal, but I also like a Japanese style breadcrumb that has a lot of texture in it. So I wouldn't disappoint by either one. I think if it was, it would depend on where I was at. If I was making it, like who my company was. If it's a Southerner, if we're sitting in Baton Rouge, I'm probably going to go with the cornmeal because it's just really traditional. But if we're trying new things and being adventurous, I think the breadcrumb with something neat and interesting with it would be great.
Chef Michael Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend, getting you ready, answering all of your culinary queries every single week here on the show. Chef, we love you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks,
you
Chef.
have a great day. Executive Chef for LSU Legs. Hey, guys, big, massive OTB shout out to our girl, Carly Woodard. She just hopped in the chat, being the realest of one. She hopped in the chat immediately after giving birth, saying, we're doing great. Butterball Bubba Baby is perfect. And now I can't justify my Chick-fil-A followed by Mary Lee's anymore. LOL. Congrats, Carly. Glad to hear you and the baby are doing great. Hell yeah.
Yeah, congrats.
That's awesome. The OTB family grows by one more.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Congrats, Carly.
It is a utopic feeling when you have you bring a new child into the world, and those first couple of days you're still in the hospital, and life slows down for just a little bit, and you can appreciate it.
I know, and nothing tastes better than that fresh milk, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially right there at the beginning. Ooh, when it's heavy on that colostrum. That's my favorite. All right, when we get back here, let's go ahead and close out hour number 3 of OTB. Got a couple segments left. Keep it locked off the bench.
OTB, OT.
Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. You need, I don't know why I'm doing an S noise. You need a car? You want All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, okay? Or a truck, or maybe a minivan, or an SUV, whatever it is. They got it there at All-Star. They got the best selection with the best prices. They got great deals going on for military members, recent graduates all the time, and just for anybody and everybody. You can check out the deals online at All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. Holiday deals in the air as well. Like, you want to do that thing where you do the car with, like, the bow on it?
Ooh, yeah.
You can do it with All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and if you also want to do the thing where you just rent one to drive to Tuscaloosa over the weekend, you can do that as well. Go ahead and make sure you reserve that vehicle. Maybe you've got a trip coming up for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you want to get ahead of it and you want to reserve that vehicle right now, you can do that as well. Remember, everything's available. So midsize, full-size SUV, Sienna, truck, whatever you need. They've got you covered. AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Culinary. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar and Town Square Pizza. Paul Nolan, Dwayne Colucci, and Matt Humans all among our guests, and we're getting ready for a huge college football weekend. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Thursday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Please participate in our 2023 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. You can win a Twin Peaks gift card. Don't forget to make your picks by noon on Thursday for the upcoming slate in college football. Play the 2023 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Saturday, y'all. Welcome back to OTB. Choo! It's 11-pound baby boy. This is a big ball, baby. It's a big ball, boy. 11 pound.
11?
11.
Oh, what was Quad Bob?
Shoot, like 9 something?
Yeah, Jackson was 9 too, and my oldest Jackson's a giant.
I wasn't a terribly big kid, though. My sister's bigger than me. Ask the bench, while during your shingle misery.
Who was?
What?
You weren't the biggest baby?
No, Cammy was.
Yeah, Cam's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Guess that makes sense.
Well, during your shingle misery, did you hear Taylor and Jake completely disparage your month of Halloween music rejoins?
Oh, yeah.
I take offense to this.
Hey, I'll look. A month long of Halloween music, and some of it, I love the crooner portion that we fell into. But the Monster Mash on October the 2nd, maybe next year, maybe we go crooner until the week of Halloween, and then we start throwing the Monster Mash in there. I love the vibes in the studio.
No, y'all are stupid.
Look,
I didn't make the playlist needs work. Like, the playlist did kind of suck at times. The month of Halloween music is not the problem. The playlist is the problem.
No,
I can agree with you
look,
there.
I love Halloween. I'm a Halloween guy. I wasn't disparaging the music. I was just saying I could see where Jake's coming from because it's only about 10 or 12 songs on repeat.
Well,
but I love Halloween.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's not a problem with the
I think we should blame
concept.
Mario.
That's the problem with the playlist. We just kept playing the same ones over and over again. We could do a much better playlist.
Yes,
And we should have done a better playlist.
Yes, we can all do better with diversifying the music.
We'll get one
I
together
would
for
agree with that.
Christmas.
Yes. I'm
Because
down.
we don't Thanksgiving doesn't have.
Is there
a,
such thing as Thanksgiving music? I was about to
nothing?
say.
Like the Meg
Yes.
Ryan fall playlist,
Yeah.
probably.
They
Okay.
definitely have like some Pilgrim Trap remixes.
Look up. No, God.
No,
This is
absolutely
This is
not.
kind of how the Halloween playlist ended up going awry as well. You went too electronic with it. Look up the Vince Guaraldi trio. Okay. You want a Thanksgiving song? I'm gonna give you one here in 1 minute as my Spotify loads up.
Y'all seen the Thanksgiving horror movie that's coming out?
No.
Yeah, it's called Thanksgiving.
No, I'm calling you Tyler for bringing that up. Tyler.
I did not
Blood
say I
Honey?
was going to see it. I did not say it was a good movie, but there is one coming out.
I mean, they're they're trying to do somewhat like with Christmas. They've had a couple of movies.
Did Black Christmas one time.
Yeah, and there was one last year that wasn't necessarily a horror movie, but it was adjacent. We'll say that.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, you can basically do any.
see, that's perfect.
Any Vince is gonna hit that perfect.
Any
cozy. Of course, this is the guy that does all the Peanuts songs.
Yes.
So you'll recognize a lot.
Any like song that sounds like you should be by a fire with a bourbon in your hand. Thanksgiving.
Listen to Cast Your Fate. What was the full title here? Cast Your Fate to the Wind by the trio. It's going to be one of them that you won't necessarily recognize from Peanuts, but it's still going to give you those fall vibes.
Random thought, sports related. Detroit's gonna be lit Thanksgiving this year. That tradition is always cool, but it's very rare that the Lions are good. It's gonna be a good time over there.
Incredibly rare that they're good. And not only good, they're gritty.
Is JFK gonna miss his second Lions playoff win?
He might. Looks that way, Taylor.
I forgot that stat, and I didn't know where the hell you were going.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That's the thing. JFK's only missed one Lions playoff victory. in
Maybe
their
I should have
history.
said, look, let's not lose our heads.
I knew
okay?
you were trying to get there, and I was trying to move
wasn't actually
on.
going there, but I just found my way there. But let's all keep our heads on, okay? And let's not
dig
count
right
our
in.
chickens before they hatch, okay? Where that eggshell hatch is open all over the place because you still got to win a playoff game, okay? We got a minute left. Any song for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles counts as a Thanksgiving song? I don't know that I've ever thought about this music from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it is the premier Thanksgiving movie. I don't think there's a bigger Thanksgiving movie than Planes, Trains.
God, I love a good movie that starts in Thanksgiving and just goes through the holidays and leads up to Christmas, but it also pays respect to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm not gonna lie though, with this cold weather, it's a little tempting to want to start besting out that Christmas music. But I already told my daughter no. She wanted to start watching like the Grinch and stuff already. I said no, fam. You gotta pump the brakes. They can be too much of a good thing. All I want for Christmas is to not feel like I'm dying. That would be ideal. That'd be great. That'll be the best Christmas present whenever that happens, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully by Christmas you don't have shingles.
Hopefully.
By Thanksgiving, hopefully you don't have shingles.
Yeah, hopefully. God, if I still have it. Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hopefully you go to Patient Plus Urgent Care if you're feeling a little sick this fall. PatientPlusUC.com, PatientPlusUC.com, where you will see the difference. You get in, you get better. Life's unexpected moments. Nobody's better than Patient Plus. Ask about the Ask about the membership where you get you get unlimited visits though if you're a member, and that's like steroid shots, whatever, everything. You pay that flat fee for an entire year, then unlimited visits for that year. And if you go twice, you're already coming out ahead. Okay, so take care of yourself this holiday season into next year. They have family rates as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care, patientplusuc.com. Let's do this, guys. Let's go to break, and we'll do an extended Ask the Bench when we get back here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
K to Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com. K to Z window coverings. You want window coverings that wow, interior, exterior. You want the guys that have been at it for 25 years. And if you want brownie points, maybe you're into interior design, maybe your partner is, whoever is, you want some brownie points, put them in touch with K to Z. And all of a sudden, you're going to bring your interiors or exteriors, like I said, your outdoor living space, whatever you're looking for, to the next level. You're going to get top-notch service, top-notch experience, top-notch prices, the best of everything at K to Z.
Go to that website, KTZBlinds.com, the number 225-791-1220. Give them a call today. Have them come out to your space. Every space is going to be different, and your space is going to have its own unique things that it needs, right? And they can help you, and they're going to give you exactly what you need for your space, depending on where the sun hits or whatever your needs might be. So have them come out, and it can be interior, exterior. They do it all. K2ZBlinds.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2640.
In the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by Brock.
And we recap the night starting at 10 with Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. On YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Hope you're all having a great day. Remember, Accutint, Baton Rouge, AccutintBR.com for your AC, heat, and electrical needs. Get that service to the highest degree. Some more on Accutint in a minute. But first, Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. It was so hard not to drink Coors Light the other night in Halloween. All the parents are walking around with beers in hand. Dwayne D. Ask the Bench. Have you seen a video a while back of Jason and Freddie messing up the dude who put the Christmas lights too early up in his yards and need to keep making their rounds? # too early. Well, you can have them up. Maybe don't turn them on yet. That's what I did with Got Lit. Shout out Got Lit. Already got me ready. Go take advantage. But yeah, you probably shouldn't have them on just yet.
Shoot.
Oh,
Got Lit got me right.
Damn,
and we just
you've been having them
we
on.
had Halloween decorations that had lights as well, so we just added to it. Now it's November.
What about November? I'm saying you keep them on.
Why not?
Oh, okay. Watch out for Freddie and Jason, Bob.
Come on.
Make defense great again. Ask the Bench. Is it realistic to think that LSU could win by 2 scores? They have a Heisman type quarterback and Bama doesn't. There's a lot of in any other matchup, if you were just going to tell me Jalen Milroe against Jaden Daniels, you would think, oh my God, LSU has the massive advantage. But again, they also have the massive weakness. So it's going to be a major question of, are you really only as strong as your weakest link? Because your weakest link is weaker than theirs. I think it's a closer game than 2 scores, but I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah, there's no shot of that happening. Show me the last time LSU won by 2 scores in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Well, but again, nobody had ever won by double digits in Tuscaloosa until Texas did. So,
Truth.
# Ask the Bench. Favorite way to cook a turkey? I only know how to cook it the traditional way, but I would love to fry one year.
I don't cook turkey, so however anybody else wants to prepare it.
Do you mean like Katie cooks it, or do y'all get like somebody like badass to cook it? Like I saw Blue Oak had like a deal. I was like, oh, if I was just being lazy, that'd be a pretty good deal.
And we're we're a team ham fam.
Oh wow!
And Katie cooks the ham. What? I love ham.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I love a Barks root beer ham along with the turkey. I need both.
I mean, I love both, but if I'm only going to do one, it's gonna be ham.
# Ask the Bench. What are y'all's thoughts on hummus? It's delicious.
It's fantastic.
I used to hate it. I can stand it now.
I can stand it.
I thought there was a very funny bit with Bruno, the old Ali G character, the old Sacha Baron Cohen character, Bruno, where he was sitting, I think it was like a representative of Hamas, maybe an Israeli citizen. It's from years and years ago. And kind of point out some of the absurdity of how human beings tend to hate each other. He's just doing his classic idiot thing, and he gets them both to agree that they love hummus. That hummus is healthy and good for you, and that everybody loves hummus.
Hummus is awesome.
Ask the Bench. Should we expect another suspension for T-Bob in the coming weeks? If LSU wins, all bets are off, All the back doors are open. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Would you consider this defensive line a disappointment so far? I have a hard time saying no. Yeah, I mean, look, Mekhi Wingo's been hurt all year, and so he has not reattained All-American form. Harold Perkins has been more of a, less of a D lineman, more of a true linebacker. Nobody's really great in the pass rush. Jordan Jefferson's been a nice surprise. So, yeah, I mean, I get where you're, and then Mason Smith hasn't lived up to expectations. So, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Ask the Bench. Favorite Greek or Lebanese restaurant? There's a bunch of good ones, man. If you're looking for something on the go, obviously we love Sirop. Shout out our guy Avo. Kava's pretty good on the go as well. Is it Zorba's, right, that I fell in love with not too long ago that I think is a great sit-down spot? So, yeah, there's a lot of good ones here.
Look, out in Denham, we have Cafe Phoenicia. It's really good. That's probably my favorite one.
Okay, hell yeah. Ask the Bench. Chicken or lamb shawarma?
Chicken.
Lamb. Vegan Greek, I always want the lamb.
Yeah.
You got to get the mix. You got to get the combo with the chicken shawarma and then the lamb.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Do
either of you have colored lights in your house, or is it just all white?
All white. Although, look, I'm not against the blue Christmas. Graceland's lit up in blue.
I went
all
white last year.
All white.
Nobody's surprised, Taylor. Ha! Hashtag Ask the Bench. What's your favorite? What's your favorite Bobby Knight memory? Rest in peace to Bobby Knight, man.
Yeah. So when he was at Texas Tech, they came and played Centenary College in Shreveport, right? Traveled to Centenary, played in the Gold Dome there, and I thought that was pretty cool that he took his team to a small college like Centenary. And so, a lot of Shreveport went to the game just to see Bobby Knight coach.
Legend, straight legend. I think of the quote where he talks about being buried upside down so the critics could kiss his butt. Legendary.
That is really good. That is really good.
And I love that him and Indiana made up because they were estranged from each other for the longest time. So that's awesome that they did that.
For sure.
Do remind you, Ag10 Baton Rouge, ag10br.com. Get that service to the highest degree. That's not just lip service. Go look at the online reviews, y'all. Understand, and again, when you work with them, the customer service is going to blow your mind. You'll be like, oh my God, I get it now. This is like why everybody's so obsessed here. Ag10 Baton Rouge, ag10br.com. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Clark or Eddie? Clark. Yeah.
I mean, Eddie's great.
Yeah.
And,
Eddie's great in
little
that
segments.
You hate him.
You
But,
know,
yeah.
Like, Vegas Vacation when he's at the Hoover Dam and he asks, where's the damn bait?
Ask the
Funny,
Bench.
but give me Clark.
Why is it that LSU fans are more hostile to away fans than Saints fans? All college fans are more hostile than NFL fans, unless you go to like Philly or something.
Unless you go to like the Raiders game or Philly or what's another good one? Cowboys.
At least we don't bark at human beings.
Anywhere in New York, really.
Yeah.
At least we don't bark at other adults like Georgia fans. Freaking weirdos, dude. Absolute weirdos. Y'all have a great day.
OT. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further.